Are we? Wait, we're actually streaming?
Yeah, I hit the button.
So we're live?
Hopefully, once it goes through, it's better to start early and get the kinks out of the way. So hopefully everything starts working.
So I should not be watching Judge Judy right now.
No, turn her off.
I
Right
had a
now.
dream that I
Turn
got
her
into an
off right now.
argument with Judge Judy. I actually had a dream I had an argument with Judge Judy, and I
You'll
won.
lose. No, you
No, I
can't win.
won.
They don't
No,
keep
I
her
did. Well,
around because
it
she's
helped
pretty.
that
They
she
keep
was
her
in the
around
wrong.
because she's
Nobody
smart.
wins against Judge Judy.
No.
She's Judge Judy. She
Yeah.
judges.
Is anyone watching the YouTube to make sure to know if we're actually
Yeah,
going
we're
through?
live.
We're live. I'm meeting Petra.
Oh, okay. Because I don't have it up, so I can't. I don't know. So they can.
Yeah,
see.
we're up.
It's working. Can they hear us? Hear everybody? See us?
Yeah, they hear me. I just heard myself talking about Judge Judy.
Okay, good. Good.
Oh man, and they're all commenting on my dream.
Yeah.
No, seriously, she was like conning people, like stealing money from them. She was charging like $30 for something and then like fighting them.
I guess that's what
And
we'll talk
then-
about for the next 30 seconds. Oh, no, time's up. It's 5 o'clock. Let's start.
And then I got into an argument with her. But the only reason I won is because I was morally right.
Has something to do with
If I
morals.
wasn't morally right, she would have wrecked me. I made her cry.
Oh, that's a new one. You made Judge Judy cry in a dream.
In a dream, not real life. Oh, guess what? We're buffering. Oh wait,
Yeah.
no, not anymore. Not anymore.
It was just a
Not
second?
anymore.
Alright.
Just a sec. Oh, it's back.
Tell me
Is it
when
gonna do that thing again?
Tell if it goes away.
Okay, it keeps going away, and now it's coming back. A lot of people hear me. A lot of people are.
Try turning screen share off. Well, that wouldn't really work.
No, because we gotta follow it. Jake is asking how much money we've made so far. Not gonna answer that one.
$1 trillion.
Yeah, a trillion. I mean, it does keep coming up with buffering, but then again, I've got my webcam on. I'm looking at your screen share, and I've got the live stream on. So, and I've got Judge Judy in another tab. So maybe
It
there's a
depends on
reason
if
it's.
everyone else says it's buffering or not.
All right, everyone watching us right now, would you guys please tell us if it's playing fine, if it's streaming fine, or are you getting a lot of buffering? Because yesterday, it was buffering like constantly, and we had to restart the stream, and it worked after that. So let us know, please, in the comments right there on the chat. How's it coming through? No one's answering yet.
Maybe they're not answering because it's not working.
I don't know how long it's gonna take. I don't know how long the delay
A
is.
30-second delay, minute delay.
I did see one person say it's buffering. No buffering for me, bruv. It's not that bad. Please don't spoil the ending of the game. Yeah, well, you know what? It syncs, okay? Spoiler alert.
We've done that for some time. Does everything still look okay?
A lot of people are saying it is buffering a lot.
Alright.
Buffers every 15 seconds. And now it's all crashing for me. It's going green, it's flashing away, the screen's cutting out. You want to start the stream again?
That helped last time. Let's try that one more time. Again. See if that solved everything.
Can we go back online?
It should be in a moment or so.
We're online.
Fingers crossed. That's just what solves it.
Buffering.
I guess that's it.
It's buffering a lot. Ah!
You guys are on your own.
I hate that this always happens.
You guys watch the video and tell me if this helps.
What are you doing?
I turned off screen share for us.
Wow, getting a lot of comments. There's a lot of people here.
No more buffering. Oh wow, that means that me and Tom can no longer see what Matt's doing.
Not live, but you can have a 30-second delay.
That sucked last time because
That doesn't help.
we didn't know where you were.
I'm in the Titanic. What else do you need?
Yeah, but we're supposed to all be walking around talking about what everything is. It doesn't help if we don't know what everything is.
You know what everything is. Okay, well, I'll tell you as I go around the reception room. It's a lovely room.
Ugh.
All right, here we are. Let's begin, shall we, with the buffering. If it's solved, it's always Skype. We'll have to set up like a video chat
Okay.
with our phones next time or something.
It is working for everyone,
Yeah.
they're saying. And it's working for me too. But we don't know what's going on. We can't see live. We can only see the 40-second delay that everyone else got. Jake, I'm not helping you with your taxes right now. Leave me alone. My friend Jake. Different Jake.
Well, I guess for starters, you're in the reception room now, unless you moved on. But
I'll tell you when I leave a different space. So, let's begin by talking about what this entire demo is again, shall we?
The demo.
And why
How
we're
did this-
why we're doing this, why we're touring it right now.
How did this demo happen? That's the big question. Why did we do this? Because originally the plan was we're just doing one environmental demo, considering we give away so much with these. I mean, we really appreciate it, but we want to really also save a lot of stuff for the final game. You know, we want a lot of surprises. So we felt like the first demo, that would be it until the early access demo that the donors get, and then the public release. So, this second demo, which we're playing through right now, was really a spur of the moment kind of thing. It was more like, let's just do it. Let's give the people what they ask for. I forget. I completely forget what the motivation was. What was it, Matt?
Oh goodness. It was along those lines. I know we wanted to. It was
I think it was kind of to sway investors. It's kind
it
of
was
like,
a
yo,
combination
investors.
of things like we wanted to show a bunch of. Kyle, start talking.
well,
I don't know.
yeah, we wanted to do that. We wanted to,
We had a lot of new things.
Stir
We
the
had
pot
a lot
a
of new
little
engine
bit.
things too, didn't we? That we wanted to show off, like daytime, for instance.
yeah, we wanted to show off some
Yes.
daytime stuff. It originally, remember the original idea was just to do, I think, the Afghan staircase,
Oh yeah, that's true.
and it sort of blossomed
we had a
into
lot
the
of first class ready
this.
to connect.
Yes.
yeah.
Now,
And
I
we,
have.
and we wanted you guys to see the stuff in daylight as well.
Right.
Like to see light streaming through these windows. That was not artificial light. Even though it's still artificial, but it's daytime light in the game. It's not like artificial 1912 man-made light. Ooh, dining room. And our continued tease of the dining room. I'm looking in
Yeah, the
through
dining
the
room is
doors.
The dining room is fun. We decided to just tease everyone with that because you couldn't see it in the old demo. It's just a
Mhm.
bit of blackness and some tables, but here you can technically see the whole dining room, most of it anyway.
Yeah, you can look right through. And you can see that there's only certain sections lit. There's only one section lit, I think.
In the middle,
Yep.
which I think is pretty much how it was lit in the brown photo.
Yeah, the middle section is lit with up from above, but the alcoves by the side of the hall are lit from the exterior through the portholes, and they don't need any extra light, so they keep those lights off.
Do you wanna hide the info boxes?
Okay, I guess I should.
No, because we're gonna be looking at the cabins too,
Oh, that's true.
and I don't remember who they all were.
But we had this first part of first section was in the original demo, but it's had some changes since.
Yes,
Hey Matt, are you streaming sound from the demo itself, like the music?
There's a little bit of music in the background.
Is there? You did that, and I thought we were gonna cut that out.
It got rechanged when I did the program. I didn't change it back. So if it's too loud, let me know and I'll go through and quickly change it.
Can anyone hear us? Is the music too loud?
No, I can
Grand
hear it in
piano
the
was.
I could hear it in the live stream. It's not that bad. It's very silent in the back.
Okay, good. There's a spot on the floor that everyone likes to talk about, Kyle.
Oh yes,
Somebody says Spammels is not part of the team.
he technically is.
He is.
He helped. He helps with the historian aspects in some parts, and he also modeled parts of Southampton for us. He's part of the team.
Oh yeah, there's that spot. You see, I figure people are going to be treading on this floor. It's not going to be overly clean.
Now I'm,
Plus, it
looking,
had a lot of spots on it that were a little messy.
now I'm looking down the corridor in D-Deck.
Oh, yes.
I like how we opened up areas too. We used to
Yeah,
hide
we
things with curtains, and now we don't have curtains hiding things so much.
yeah, basically, we had the initial areas we wanted to put in the demo, and we put in the corridors, forward staircase, much more of that, and areas from the first demo, excluding third class and crew areas. And then we threw on a couple extra areas. These bits of corridors, you can't explore them, but they're there. You can see them, and it gives you an idea of how big everything is, the scale.
There wouldn't be much
And
to
it
explore,
teaches
really.
you. Yeah, they're just boring old corridors. And trust me, they're boring.
They're very tedious after a while. I think we'll go down first. Alright. We've all seen D-Deck before in several demos. Well, our two. We'll go down to the other area that's been seen in our first demo, in this demo, which was E-Deck, briefly. We'll go... I don't think much changed down here, really. We have the info boxes, that's the only thing that's changed a lot. We filled them out a little bit more, right, for the cabins?
Mm-hmm.
Guess I have to read the info boxes because I'm the one who's seeing it live.
Mhm.
Margaret Brown,
Yes.
also known as the unsinkable Molly Brown. You guys can stop me if you want to talk about anybody. Ooh, there's light coming from the porthole. That's pretty.
Look at the light. Look at the beam.
And Dorothy Gibson and Pauline Gibson, her mother, the famous actress Dorothy Gibson, who would star in... Was it Saved from Titanic? That's what it was called?
Yes.
Motion picture right after the sinking a month later. Those are two of the famous people on this deck down here. And, well, I guess I should say the other first class passengers who aren't as well known. John Flynn.
Somebody asked if we'll include the fire. Well, best not to talk
Fire.
about that, but it'll
It's burning over here. I
it'll-
can feel it. That's how hot it is. I can
Oh.
feel it behind this bulkhead.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. The pool. Where's the pool?
The pool's down here. I can feel it. It's like right under my feet. I'm getting closer.
They just wanted a heated pool. That's why it was on fire.
Right. Oh, Laura, Frank's is right here in this cabin. Francatelli. Laura Francatelli, secretary to Lady Duff Gordon. Is there anyone down this cabin? I don't think so. Or down this corridor, rather? No. Yeah. But yeah, those cabins and corridors sections that we blocked off, get out of here, that we blocked off would be pretty much like this in first class on D deck and C deck and B deck and A deck that you can see but you can't get into. They're just white walls like this.
Mhm.
So you get a little taste of it right here. Alright, I'm gonna go and look up the staircase in everyone's favorite spot. And then down to F deck. And into the Turkish bath, into the cooling room, which has had a couple more details added that were just missing from the first demo that just were not placed in time. That's all. Just
I
trivial
think the
things.
electrical panel. What else was in there?
Oh yeah, the electrical panel on the outside. I think just some coat hooks were missed, and they were just put in quickly. Yeah, right there's a coat hook.
But yeah, a little scene of a certain crime is here.
Right. A famous moment that we all get upset about quite often.
Yes, it's very upsetting.
The electric bath. Let's not talk about it right now. Let's not talk about it.
It's traumatizing.
It's too much to deal with right now. I think what did we change the message in the mirror? Yeah, we did. Please.
We did. Go look at the mirror.
Here it is. Please contribute to. I don't know what it says. To us at www.titanichg.com. Who knew that they would have the foresight to write a website address in 1912? That must have been trash.
Yeah, that is some interesting stuff. It must be those time travelers that sunk the ship.
Yes. That must have been Trask. Okay. We've all seen this stuff before, as awesome as it is, but let's go to areas that are new to the second demo. So let's go up the C deck, and then we can really start to talk about the things that were added that made this a lot bigger and more detailed than the first demo that we released. Okay, so I'm standing right on the edge, the precipice of I'll use that word right, of C deck, and I'm about to enter it. Kyle, would you like to say anything about how it was to create this monster? Level, I don't know.
The whole demo or just this area?
How about the whole
C deck.
demo? Your experience of doing it.
It was crazy. Crazy. It was crazy. But this level specifically, this area of the Grand Staircase, that was fun. Who made our cherubs?
I think it was Dennis. I'm pretty sure it was Dennis. Yes.
And our decision to put the inquiry office in here was because we didn't want a black gaping maw in the
I know we couldn't.
in the wall there.
We couldn't have a hole.
No.
We had to have a nice. We wanted to make sure, like, once we started to remove the curtains and put long corridors, and empty spaces, we had to fill in the other gaps, and that was including the inquiry office right here.
Yeah, it's sort of like a big tree, It's like, oh, we're going to do Grand Staircase. Oh, okay, we'll throw in the corridors, C deck. Well, we might as well connect C deck, Grand Staircase. Well, now you're going to see D deck, so we've got to put in D deck. Oh, you're going to see the inquiry office, put in inquiry. Now we're going to put in B deck. Oh, we'll just open up B deck. Oh, you're going to see the C deck corridors there, put those in too. And then down to D deck, I'll just stick in the other stuff that was in there, take out the rest, and that's. And then, the restaurant and cafe were part of the original plan.
I'm standing at my favorite spot, I think, on C deck, because I can look aft right now, and I can look all the way down the corridor, the midships corridor on C deck, all the way to basically the end of first class, and then I can turn forward and I can see the forward corridor, and it's just like probably 500 feet of ship all the way. It's the long expanse of the ship that shows how long it is. And that's why we wanted to include these corridors, really. It just goes on forever.
Forever.
This boat is big.
You're never going to escape that.
No.
By the time you get to the end of it, the ship will sink.
It's true. Where's the info box?
Oh, you can't get in there.
Yeah, the cherubs and the Putos were made by our character modeler, Dennis Batol. Is that how you say his name correctly?
I think so.
And along with a couple of the character models that we've shown, like Bruce Ismay, you can see well, I'll go up to B deck right now, look at this other one before we go further aft. B deck is similar to C deck. Here's one of the main cherubs. And this one is actually a copy of the one from the deck above and on B deck
Oh,
and
hey.
draft, but yes.
Look at the sofa chair
Uh,
on the
I know where you want me to go look at.
starboard
I
side.
know where Kyle wants me to go look at.
Yes.
There's a picture of Kyle.
Hey, you should look at all our pictures. Parks was on the Enquiry office counter.
That's true. I'll go back to it quickly.
By the letterbox. And I think someone was. I don't know. I don't recall if
There's a
anyone
lot
was
of people
down.
in the reception room and downstairs. There's people all over the place. I have to backtrack a lot, but we love you all. We'll go back to you some other time. But yeah, there's Parks. Yeah, we like to put our Easter eggs.
Oh, hey,
throughout.
Matt.
Yeah,
Yeah, we did put our Easter eggs throughout. You should stop by C105.
I'll stop by C105 when we go aft. Don't worry. Speaking of Easter eggs, here's a notice board on B deck. And these notice boards are, you know, they're throughout first class, and in second class they had some of these notice boards too. And they would write different things depending on the day, like the date of the ship and the daily run, depending on by noon each day. And in the date of our demo, it takes place on Friday, the 12th of April, and the ship hasn't had it's early morning. It's like, I think it's 8:30 or something like that. So the ship hasn't had its full run yet. So they'll eventually update the run and post the mileage right here. But they also include the weather for the day, any ship activities, you know, any updates. But we wanted to put a little bit else. We wrote in here, like, please contribute if you enjoyed this early demo of Titanic Honor and Glory, in our website again, because that's what we do. That's like our Easter eggs, like I said. Yeah, the time right now is it's 8:50. No, 8:48. Sure, I can read time. It's just small. That's all. It's on my second monitor.
Look at the clock.
That's what I did. I was just reading the time.
Oh,
yes.
You did.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting there's a delay.
I'm gonna stand in this little
Easy
corridor right here and look at the grand staircase. I like this area.
It is a nice area.
I like the red couches in here. The red and wicker. Now this is the top level of the grand staircase that you can access in our demo, because we didn't want, like we said, we didn't want to give everything away. So the top level is not accessible, and that's the grand level of the grand staircase with the dome and everything. Alright, is it time to go back downstairs into C deck?
Possibly.
Yes. Alright, is there any other notes you want to say, Kyle, about this area for a moment? What's the process that's involved with this? I mean, like, I make the models, yes, we do research, but then there's the whole, like, like,
oh,
you know, there's the whole
UV mapping.
UV mapping and all that wonderful jazz.
Yeah, basically, you make the models, and then I'll grab them.
Right.
And
it's not just a quick 5-minute process, for instance.
Oh no. I practically, to some extent, in some ways, it's almost like redoing some of it, because I have to go over it so much. But it's great. I'll clean up the tries, I'll clean up the meshes, I'll add detail here, remove detail elsewhere that'll instead have details applied with textures, and I'll do high poly models, low poly models, collision meshes, and then I'll make the textures, I'll bake the textures, and set up the UVs and do the light maps and everything. And basically make them look as real as possible.
Right. Because when I make the models, they're not just, they don't look this pretty. They start
And you know,
off,
it's also, yeah, it also helps to
because you add everything from the shine of the wood, the grain of the wood.
yeah, because once all that's done, you still have to import it into the engine and set it all up and set up the materials and everything. Set up the lights, bake it all like a pizza, like the pizza I'm eating now.
All right. Okay, let's continue our journey through the Titanic into the wonderful area of the midships corridors, which are quite long. So let's look at the map quickly.
People are asking if we're gonna do anything to incorporate the new Olympic photos that have been found.
Olympic photos. What are they talking about?
The grand staircase
B-deck,
That-
Matt, B-deck.
technically were found for us.
They were found for us.
Yeah,
Doesn't work.
B-deck, Matt.
Right. I'm gonna run there then. Well, it's B deck and it's all on B deck. How did they know about that?
So, up until recently, there were no photographs of Olympics B-deck grand staircase. So, or
Or
at least
Titanic, of course.
that we were aware of. Yeah, there's none of Titanic, but even over Olympics career, it seemed like there was none of the Olympics. So, we kind of did guesswork. But then, us, along with one of our historians, Dan Clistener, contacted Getty Images. Is it Getty or Jetty?
Getty.
It's Getty. Getty. Like Gettysburg.
GTY, yes.
Anyway, we contacted them, and they dug up some for us. And of course, when they dig some up, they post them publicly online.
Right.
So, I mean, we had them, and then we used them, we incorporated them, and then someone found them and posted them on Facebook. And
Which is, which is just something that can happen. Like you
Yeah.
said, it's a free. They post it. They put their watermarks on it and everything. Yes.
yes, but I just, how was the reaction? Maybe I'm wrong, but I kind of feel like people were rubbing it in our face like they found it and we didn't, not realizing we had it months before and we're actually kind of the reason why it's out there.
It was an okay reaction.
Okay, my mistake then.
No, don't worry. I'm gonna remove this info box. I can bring it back if I hit Shift I, right, Kyle?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Just
what.
press I.
How'd I get it back?
Press I many times.
Well, we'll never know who's in what cabin now. But okay, so this is what the photograph looks like of Olympics B-deck staircase. But it doesn't look like that. The main difference is it's a huge drastic change. There's just no cherub in the middle like this. There's no large post that you see the cherub standing on. It's a smaller. These posts on the side, which I can point to, but you won't see, are called newel posts that the pineapples are on. And the one in the middle was skinny, like the one that the pineapples are on, and it just had a pineapple on it. So we think that on the sides here were the little tiny cherubs, like on C deck below. So that was the big revelation that we were able to get.
Which is
yeah,
included
no
in the grand staircase, but not in the demo.
Not in the demo.
So it's already fixed.
Yes, because it's actually just bringing different parts down. Like, for instance, it's just bringing a newel post right here, like from this one, and putting it right there. Bringing the pewtos from C deck below, bringing them up, and bringing the railing from I think it's just A deck. Oh, I'm sorry. I think it's actually from the B deck aft grand staircase aft. It all fits together. It's just more pieces like being put together like a puzzle.
Right.
So it's actually convenient. So but it's not in the public demo, which this is, because I didn't actually have it on my computer. I went to the website and re-downloaded it. So if you don't have the demo, everybody, just go to our website, titanichg.com, and go to free demos and download it, and you'll get it. Because that's what I did like 15 minutes before this started. So yes. And that's
So this is the most up-to-date one. I think there were a couple versions we've uploaded since we've released it. Fixing bugs, things like that. Oh man.
I got him back.
You got what back?
The info boxes.
Oh, good job.
Yes.
Oh,
By the
good.
way, Matt, thanks for doing the Facebook screen share thing.
You're welcome.
Because for a while, I was quiet because I just simply couldn't follow this because I can only see the live view that everyone sees, which is actually 40-second delay,
Mhm.
which was really stressful to follow
Facebook
because by the time we
screen-
start seeing something, you're already 40 seconds ahead.
Right.
So if we talk about something, it's gonna sync up wrong, and people are gonna hear us talking about something they saw 40 seconds ago.
Yeah, I was subtly trying to sneak my cell phone in a position that I called Tom and Kyle in our little Facebook chat that we have for Titanic Honor and Glory. I called them so that my camera on my cell phone is facing my screen so they can see it, and it's using my data right now. So
You're not on Wi-Fi?
I don't want it to. Well, I have unlimited data. I never use it, but I didn't want it to ruin the stream anymore. So hopefully it's not buffering, and hopefully it's not causing any
No, it's
issues.
good.
So
All good.
yeah.
I got unlimited data too, so I'm all good.
So
Although my
they can
battery's
see-
not unlimited.
They can see it. We can do it live. It's jerry-rigged, and everything's gonna work now.
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
I got a
Good.
battery pack
So
attached
it's
now.
So
ridiculous.
you're standing by John Farthing's cabin there.
If you can
Yes.
see it, then yes.
Yeah.
All right. Who wants to
Why is
talk
the
about
sound
these
back?
things now? I don't want. Should we talk about everybody's cabin here? Because look at all these cabins. Look at this deck plan. There's a lot
Yes,
of
look at all.
cabins.
Look at all these
Ah.
cabins. Look at all these cabins.
This is just C deck. This was like the millionaire's deck though on Titanic. So
Yeah, this midships area, C and B deck midships is all. That's where that's where all the fancy cabins are. And people are always surprised when they see the lower down first class cabins, and they're like, "Wow, where's all the fancy paneling and stuff?" And
right.
that wasn't, they
Why are
didn't
there
really.
pipes exposed everywhere? Why are
Yeah.
Why is the ceiling just planked or why is it sometimes why is where's the gold?
Standard for.
But that's first
So-
class.
By the way, guys, there's not going to be another demo until the game is almost coming out. So there's not going to be another demo. And it's not going to include Britney Spears. So let's all move on. There's a lot of people in the chat
Britney
talking about
Spears.
Britney Spears. I don't know why.
All right. Did I miss somebody? Oh, I missed a lot of people.
Who did we do already? Like, who did we go to?
We only walked by the Strausses.
Okay. By the way, man, I can't see your full screen. Half of it's devoted to Kyle.
Oh, I don't know.
So it crops. Anyway.
Oh
Alright.
darn!
So
How
we're
do
looking
I
at some
turn that
sitting
off?
room.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, there's the Strauss sitting room, the Strauss cabin. It's behind the door, and then they have their manservant and maid across the way for them. They have their whole little suite arranged nicely right here.
Mm-hmm.
They got their whole entourage there. It's,
Yes, they do.
uh, the paneling, these corridors are
Alright.
fun to do though, because they're made of very simple parts that you just put together and all that. And it all came together in a very nice set of corridors, and it's lots of doors. It was fun placing those, and by fun I mean tedious.
It's a lot different than what we've seen before with Titanic media when they've
Those
created.
vents in the ceiling were a revelation. Like used to not know where those went.
Oh yeah, because before when they were Olympics vents, which they found in England, they were with
Hey, oh,
Yes.
that Matt, ooh, look off to the. Yeah,
Oh yes. Okay.
yeah,
Yes. There's
yes, I wanted to mention that
Ken
real quick.
Marshall.
Yes,
Ken Marshall.
Ken Marshall,
No, yes.
or Kyle and Melissa. Yes,
Yes.
that was yeah, that
That's
was a little heart that I
These
carved with
crazy
my
kids carving into the woodwork,
you're gonna have to pay for
yeah,
that.
that
You know, that's White Star Line property.
ruining the mahogany,
yes,
or is it oak?
but but my fiance Melissa carved that into a bench in the beach over here 6 months ago, almost to the day tomorrow, when we got engaged.
That's vandalism. That's
That
vandalizing public property, Kyle. And you just
well,
confessed
it's
to it
vandal.
on live
Well,
YouTube.
it's vandalism in the name of love, and we're not the only ones who did it.
In the name of love.
Yes.
Few people know that this corridor here exists. I just want to point that out. Okay.
Which corridor?
This little tiny corridor that leads to a bath.
I like that corridor. I love those little alcoves, and we're gonna hide so much stuff in there in the games. There's gonna be stuff in the bathrooms in this game.
Jack there.
Some stuff. There's Jack Thayer. He had his own cabin.
Because he didn't want to be with his mom and dad.
I don't blame him. Or his mom and dad didn't want to be with him.
I guess. Walter Chamberlain Porter. John Edward McGuire.
Don't know who they were.
Adolf Salfed. I never could say his last
That's
name.
the perfume guy.
I thought
That's
it
the
was-
guy who he was a perfume salesman. He traveled to Europe to carry to get perfume samples and come back to the United States and peddle them. And his perfume bottles actually survived the sinking. They sank with the ship but intact, and they were recovered from the wreck. And there's a video of Bill Souter, one of our historians, where he talks about these perfume bottles being recovered, and they opened them. They opened the bottle. Not the bottle, but they opened up the leather satchel, and it was you could still smell the fragrance from 100 some years ago. Well, I guess it was 90 some years ago at the time, but you smelled it, and he said that it made the ship feel like it was alive again. So.
Because it usually smells like death.
I think.
Yeah.
I think it was Saalfeld or something like Seinfeld, but not Seinfeld.
And then the Major Arthur Prussian.
Prussian.
That was
Prussian.
a cool story with Arthur. Go back to Arthur real quick.
There he is. Well, he's in there.
He was a Canadian
Oranges.
yachter, a yachtsman, and I think he had like an interesting story again with artifacts. He was the only male passenger that Second Officer Lightoller allowed into a lifeboat. Adult male, I should say. Only adult male. And it was because he was a yachtsman. So Officer Lightoller said, if you can climb down the rope into that lifeboat, you can go and act as a sailor. So he climbs down the rope, and as he's climbing down, his wallet fell out of his pocket.
Bad day.
And it sank into the water. And it sank to the bottom of the ocean. And then they found it. The artifact recovery team found his wallet and recovered it. So we have the wallet that dropped out of his pocket as the ship was going down. Isn't that kind of crazy? That's awesome.
I know. That's pretty cool. I know someone who accidentally dropped a camera over the wreck recently. Well, back in 2012. I wonder if they'll find that someday.
Nope. That's gone. You know someone who dropped it? Who was there? Who?
Spangle.
I think it was Tarn.
Don't say
Tarn's
that
Farms.
in public that he said he just dropped. Okay.
Well,
recall.
I'm sure people drop things there all the time. You
Yeah,
can't help that you drop things
yeah,
over the
I
railing.
see lots of litter in the wreck images, but yes.
Yeah, but that's clearly an accident.
Yes, I know. Let's see. Elmer
It was.
Floyd Taylor.
This is the
Introduced-
paper people.
Isn't there another like paper goods next door?
Yes, they
Fletcher
make the
Williams.
cups. They make
Yeah.
paper cups. So I wonder if the White Star Line said these people have lots to talk about. Let's
Right.
put them next to each other.
I'm sure while they're
It's-
on their
Well,
trip, they want to talk about business.
I think the more important
Right.
thing here is it's clearly a conspiracy to take over the world with paper cups, or possibly they're in on it somehow. Hey, they
Well,
use the paper cups to fuel the fire.
Paper
Yeah,
burns,
yeah.
Kyle. So
Yeah, I just said that.
obviously
They use it
yeah,
to build a fire.
it starts a fire. Oh, the Minihans.
Paper also floats. If you can make
Hmm.
paper boats out of it.
But
So you don't know what
paper
game they were
beats
getting
rock,
at.
and coal is rock.
Stop it.
It
It's
is?
getting too deep.
Well, I mean,
Pretty sure it's
technically, well, I mean, it's
more of a
shaped.
mineral.
It's shaped.
It's a mineral
It is a mineral, but
deposit.
it's shaped like a rock.
Okay,
And
all
the
right. Let's get back to the
is shaped
Titanic
like
here.
scissors. Okay.
What
The Minihans.
what exactly does foremost surgeon in Wisconsin
He's the
mean?
most
Like
famous
legitimately
surgeon.
the foremost?
Yes, yes, he was the.
Well,
What's her? I think this is the. Was he the surgeon that when she fell down the stairs, she went to go see? I'm not sure.
I thought she went to the ship's doctor.
Yeah, but she didn't like what he said.
What did he say? Your arm is broken?
Your arm is like it needs like a cast. So she went to go see a second. She went to go see somebody else, and it was I think it was.
What did he say? What could he say that's different? Then
nothing
you need a
different, but
cast.
he set her arm and put it in a cast. I think, and I think it was Dr. William Minahan. I don't know. I can't look this up right now. I'm walking around the Titanic.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Talk
formal
about the
surgeon in
Wideners.
Wisconsin.
Widener,
It's easy.
that's-
It's not Wideners.
That's a cool story. That's near here actually. Widener's a very prevalent Philadelphia family. They I don't know. Anyone local to Philadelphia has heard the name before, whether it be Widener University or Widener Memorial Library or anything like that. And Widener Memorial Library was actually named in honor of Harry Widener, who was on the Titanic, who had a passion for collecting antique books. And then he died in the sinking. So the family created the Widener Memorial Library in his name. So there's actually a lot of stuff in Philadelphia with Titanic connections that... Oh, there it is.
Sorry, I
See?
was reading.
No, it's fine. So, there's actually a lot of things in Philadelphia with Titanic connections. And it's pretty interesting. For example, there's a whole section of the city called Elkins Park. And Mrs. Widener was... No, actually, Mrs. Widener's maiden name was Elkins. She was of the Elkins family, and Harry's full name is Harry Elkins Widener. So, again, there's a part of the city of Philadelphia named after people on the Titanic. Well, named after a family that was eventually on the Titanic.
Someone at Harlan and Wolf needs to get their eyes checked
Why is that?
because that sign is not centered above that door frame.
Oh.
Blaming Harlan and Wolf for one of your errors, or is that a Harlan and Wolf error?
It's not my error.
That's one of my maybe that I need to get my eyes checked. So.
Kyle.
I
Kyle.
know.
Walter
I know.
Mahala Douglas, executive at Quaker Oats.
Quaker Oats.
Quaker Oats is another Pennsylvania thing, I think. Maybe.
Made the Mrs. Carter. Oh wait, no.
Hey,
it was,
Hershey.
No, it was Dr. Henry. I can't say his last name that she went to go see, because she hurt her joint in her arm.
Frauenthal?
Yeah, Frauenthal or whatever.
Frauenthal.
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 So she went to go see
Yeah.
him because her cabin is like literally like a couple cabins down. So she knew. He was in
That guy.
So she went to go see
He's
him.
in the game. He's a funny guy.
Yes. And then she went to go see him, I believe, and they set her arm, and then she was well received at dinner time.
Someone just said Pennsylvania is everywhere. I
It
assume
is.
they
Hey.
mean on the Titanic.
I have to go to Irene
Because it
Harris's
really is.
cabin.
Hey,
There.
I mean, hey,
Actually,
even
Philadelphia-
Hershey's chocolate, a Pennsylvania thing. I mean, that almost happened. I mean, you know, that guy almost sailed on it.
That was almost the thing. You see, actually, it's really interesting. If you take out Belfast, which is where the ship was built, and if you take out Southampton, which is where the ship left from, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, United States, is the city that has the most Titanic connections. Also, apart from Halifax, which is where the bodies were buried. So if you take out the three cities that actually do have a connection because the ship was associated with it in some way, if you focus only on passengers alone who were either from Philadelphia or going to Philadelphia, the city of Philadelphia is the one with the most Titanic connections. And I think there was over 100 people either from it or going to it, like 155 was a number I heard somewhere. I can't validate it. So, yes.
There's Irene Harris's cabin. Well, and Henry's too.
Yep.
She fell down. This is like the New York area, though.
Well, White Star Line actually did group cabins based off of relevancy.
The Cummings
So-
were from New York, and I believe over here, I think the Goldenbergs were from New York too, and well, obviously,
Now we got Quig Baxter. No,
Quig.
I'm
Maine
sorry.
was not from
Bertha
from New York.
Maine. No, but she is. Bertha Maine was a Belgian singer, and actually a cabaret girl from Belgium. Like most Belgians, she was from Belgium.
Yeah, that makes
And-
sense.
She met Quig Baxter, who was a Canadian hockey player, traveling to Belgium for a hockey tournament, which I guess all Canadians are, and they met and fell in love, and he arranged for her to travel back to the United States on the Titanic with his mother and his sister and himself. Now, the interesting thing is, for some reason, he thought he could keep it a secret from his family that she was coming with him. I don't know how. He booked the same ship for her. He booked the same train from New York to Canada, and they were going to live together.
He's
I don't know
never done
how
this before.
long. No, he never thought this through. This is clearly something he didn't think through. But he tried to keep it a secret. I don't know how long he could have kept that one secret, but the secret did last until the sinking, when they were all put in the same lifeboat. He died, but the three women, his mother, his sister, and the woman he fell in love with, they all survived in the same lifeboat. And Bertha stayed with the mother and sister until she was able to get her life back together and
Go back.
return to Europe. Barbershop. This actually,
Barbershop.
this actually doubled as a souvenir shop. You can go in there, you can get a haircut, you can get a shave, and you could
And
buy
creepy souvenirs.
the pennants or dolls or collectible spoons or anything like that.
You can't go in
And-
there right now, though.
No, you can't go in there right now, but that room is done. And
Closed.
look at the barbershop pole. Actually, that's one of the
There you go.
that's one of the cool things. I love this little factoid. What do you notice different from modern barbershop poles?
No blue.
No blue, exactly. See, modern barbershop poles are red, white, and blue. But on the Titanic and anywhere else in the time was just red and white. The reason for this is when World War I broke out in Britain and eventually the United States, they changed it to red, white, and blue, which were the patriotic colors of both countries, including France. And they did that as just patriotism. So they changed it, and it sticks.
Another
to this day.
interesting fact is is I don't know where it is or if it's even real, but the claim that the barber pole here in the Afghan staircase was seen floating in the water after the sinking,
Yes.
That's right.
which makes sense because this area was ripped apart in the breakup.
I believe it was. I think it was Arthur Pushin who saw it floating.
Yes.
'Cause
Yes,
and
it
he
was
would know
Pushin.
it because
He
he
looked off
was
the
he was a
Carpathian.
first-class male who probably would have visited the barber shop once or twice, and his
Right.
cabin was relatively nearby. It was just down the corridor. He would have walked by it and have noticed it, and he even said it was from. He noted it because he said that there had been an intense explosion to have loosened that from within the ship and caused it to be floating on the surface.
Hmm.
He didn't realize that
Yes.
it was because this part of the ship had actually been ripped off into a giant section during the descent to the bottom. Look up. Should I look up?
Yes, look up.
Okay. What is there?
Look up.
Oh,
Look
it's my desktop.
Oh, look at that,
background.
pretty. That's pretty. Pretty dope.
Are you? Are people really talking about how the flag of Austria evolved? Because it's just red and white, so we're talking about the barbershop pole.
Let's talk about the flag of Libya. That was just green at one time. So
It
yeah.
is just, yeah. So here we're in the aft grand staircase. The double
There's
cherubs.
the
Yeah, they're back here. I think it should be yes.
Yep.
Yes.
those clock panels that are held back in a way.
They are held back in a way. There's more corridors down this way with some other passengers. Briefly go down here a little bit. Ah, there's Jacques' cabin.
Jacques Coutel, the author.
Jacques.
Oh, and WT.
The other author. See, I'm telling you, they put these people together on purpose. Who's the guy next to them? Or girl?
Women.
The women.
Margaret Graham and Elizabeth Shutes.
They were like
And the Clarks
older.
over here. Yeah, I think they were older. Edith Graham, she was by herself. She was part of the courtier, I think. And the Frederick Hoyt. The ship's surgeon. Oh, I want to remove the signs again so I can see the little ship's surgeon sign right here.
William O'Loughlin. However you say his name.
O'Loughlin.
Man, O'Loughlin, and then he was an
O'Loughlin.
MD FRCS. He had a lot
What?
of. He had a lot of. He really
Well, he has a
enjoyed
lot of letters on it for his
getting
name,
all
so
of
you
his,
know.
like. Yeah. Yep, there we go. Did we add that? Oh, we did surgery.
Surgery. Who wants to go
What
down
did
to
we
the
do?
surgery? I love.
Surgery.
I still enjoy the fact that the hospital was in the sort of like in the middle of the general location of the galley, and the infectious hospital was right on the other side of the wall from the second class dining saloon.
If you want.
Yeah, but there was an entire solid bulkhead between them. But the only thing is, they didn't have a solid understanding of microbes. So the vents.
The vents were. It was fed into the fourth funnel, so it was all. It was fed up. It was
taken care of. They're
Yeah.
good. All right.
It was fed up into the dummy. The padded room is down this way too.
Yeah, and actually, if you look at the Titanic Channel special on the padded room, you get to see the hospital that
Yeah.
we've made. So.
John Simpson's cabin. He's an assistant surgeon. Oh. there's-
Luigi.
Yep.
He was in charge of the restaurants.
Dear Mr. Ladner.
Yo, go back.
Oh,
Go
he-
back.
there's
You're
no-
going too fast.
it's
We got
just-
people to talk about.
It's just a white door. You can see it.
You talk about people. I will be right back to heat up my pizza.
All right.
Okay.
Because we mentioned the
He-
restaurant.
Okay.
Yes, the Italian restaurant.
I'll look down the corridor while you talk. Okay.
Luigi Gatti was the restaurateur from London. Actually, he was Italian, but he was working in London, and he ran a prominent restaurant there. I think the Ritz, and
We'll find out. It's written in the.
White Star Line said, "Hey, want to help us with the ship? Want to run restaurants on the ship? First the Olympic, now the Titanic." And he's like, "Yeah."
Was that one of the
Why not?
first times that occurred? Because they do that with cruise ships nowadays.
It was probably one of the first
You know,
times,
they have, like,
although,
celebrity chefs come on board and like create menus and all these things. You know.
but I wouldn't have been surprised if they did it on the Lusitania
Right.
too. Because the Lusitania, like a lot of people
or
like
when the
to
German
say,
liners too. You know, they actually had like the very first Ritz restaurant.
did they?
I think so. I think the German ones did. I'm not sure.
The German liners are just ridiculous. Like they're so over the top. I love them, but they're so over the top. I feel like what we're looking at here with
We
the
dodged a bullet
Titanic.
actually.
Why do you say that?
But some of the like ridiculous.
Oh yes,
over, like,
yes.
exuberant. Like,
It would be
carvings
impossible to
and
build a German liner
artwork
for the
things.
game.
I feel bad for anyone who has to like. I don't. Nicholas would never be able to create those textures. It'd never
No.
be done.
So it's really a good thing that the English and American liner, because this Titanic's technically English and American.
Before we talk
Um,
about anything else, I'll give my little spiel about how Titanic was the perfect balance between like the intricate, ornate detail that was there in the Victorian world, and then the modern age, which was like it was a nice balance and intertwined. Like it was just perfect. Like these corridors
Oh.
are just nice and white and basic, but you have these little bits of gilt above. It's not overstated. It's subtle. There's subtle elegance in here. But if this was German, for instance, you would have eagles and dolphins coming out of the walls or something, and you'd have like mermaids, and there'd be
A lot of gold.
sconces, and there'd be everything would just be gold all over, and the floor would be basically just marble. And that's true. This is actually like linoleum tile, but it's still nice. I mean, it looks presentable. It's more comfortable than anything on a ship today. There's nothing wrong
Yes.
with white painted mahogany corridors.
It was simplistic, but at the same time, they thought white was better because it was the color of sanitation. Like in hospitals, it's all white. They thought white paneling, if you're gonna see if it's dirty, you're gonna see if it's filthy. So they made a lot of this stuff white. First off, because it reflects the light, but also it has that subconscious effect on the passengers where they know you can't pull one over on them. This is going to be a clean, well-kept ship.
That's why almost every first class cabin, and that's why every second and third class cabin is white.
Hmm.
I think it's also a part of the law too. Here's Carl's cabin.
Carl Bear. He's in the game. He's actually a relatively prominent character in the game. I won't go into it more. He's actually not all that prominent. I don't know.
Okay. I guess
We'll
he's not.
find out.
We'll leave him alone then if he's not that prominent. I think
He's
is.
in it. You read the script?
He's pretty good. He's in there. I like him. Have I read the script? Maybe once.
Yeah. I lived it.
Austin
I wrote
Parton.
it.
Kyle's gonna miss the grand reveal for the B deck areas. This pizza better be worth it. Alright. Here we are in the reception room.
I love that rug. I love that carpet.
It's a very close match to one of the... I think we bought this texture, but it's actually a very close match to one of the photographs. Oh, Tom has a phone call. I'll talk about the Palm Court. The Palm Room, excuse me. This is not the Palm
I'm not
Court.
taking it. I don't even know who it is. It's a
Okay.
spammer, I think.
Alright. But this
Selling me
room was known
insurance.
as, it's a reception room for the restaurant and the Cafe Parisien. But passengers, they didn't call these rooms by their official White Star Line names. They would call them what they wanted to. And that sometimes confuses historians or anyone who's reading passenger accounts. And for instance, who's that? Oh, hello, Nicholas. This is known also as the Palm Room. Sometimes the reception room on D deck can be called the Palm Room because there were potted palms in the area, and they both had music being played in. This room had the trio that usually would play right about here, actually. Yes.
Right.
This is where the band would play during and after dinner. So it's easy to confuse which room the passengers were talking about. And you'd have to go into deeper clues, like they would say that they would walk outside the long corridor, and there you go. There's a little bit of a long corridor there, but there isn't one on D deck.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how we know that they're talking about this palm room versus the palm room with the large pillows, and which would be the one on D deck.
Right.
And this room is not on Olympic.
Really?
This is Titanic only. Yes, on Olympic, this is a very truncated space where cabins were took up most of the area. Right here would just be, I think the corridor would continue. Right here, there'd still be a bulkhead, and you just have corridor doors like on C deck below. So just imagine bulkheads like this with corridor doors right up here, and then you'd have a small little corridor which was kind of like a little bit wider that looked
It's
like
a dog,
this,
not a cat.
like this reception room area, which would be the restaurant reception room for the Olympics restaurant. So this was a brand new space for Titanic. And
It's
that's
cool.
why
I like it.
Yes, I like it too. I like
Stuff happens there too.
I like the clock in this one.
The game.
This cartel clock.
Cartel Flex. It's from Colombia.
This is
How do
cartel
you
clock.
know my dog's name?
There's a stupid call button.
Am I muted?
You better not be. Here's a couple. Let's see.
Uh-oh.
Shout outs to other members like Dennis Betol. Am I saying his name correctly, right?
Yes.
Yes, Dennis Betol made the, like we said before, the cherubs and the Putos and the character models. A lot of the textures that are custom made for the game, like any fabrics, some moldings, a lot of different things are made by Nicholas Murgia. His picture's over there. Some other miscellaneous. I think this clock is made by an assistant Titanic modeler, Chris Daly. A
Chris.
couple things in the cafe and the a la carte restaurants as well. And I think we'll get to some pictures above for other historians as well. And I don't think I'm leaving anybody out.
Where are we at?
You're in here. I missed myself. And I don't care. You're in the cafe. That's okay. Kyle, I heard you. Do you want to talk
Tom
about
is.
Do you want to talk about the restaurant reception room at all?
I will. I just wanted to say that someone in the chat said that Tom is going to make Titanic great again. I think there might be a merchandise hat idea in that.
We should make a hat like that. And you know what?
But Titanic
That
was
gives me an
always
idea.
great.
We should just ask Mexico to pay for this game.
They're gonna swear at us though.
I'm not.
The reception room. The reception room was a the reception room was a fun area because it's a combination. Obviously, it combines the classic grand staircase design
Mhm.
with this new design.
Louis
And-
Louis the 14th style railing with, well, it's also Louis the 14th style paneling, but still.
I think it's a really nice
The
combination.
furniture. The furniture was really interesting. The furniture, because we weren't sure at first what furniture to make. There were like a couple. There was a design and an illustration drawing,
Oh yeah.
and then we saw. Yeah,
the illustrations.
and
like,
then we
from
saw.
this- Get out of my way! Get out of my way! Okay. You keep talking. I'll get to the picture. There we go.
But the illustration showed like squared chairs and stuff like that.
Squared
and,
chairs. No one wants squared
But then we
chairs.
saw-
Square pegs.
and there was never a reception like this on a reception room like this on Olympic, of course. But I think later on they did have sort of a similar room that was more of a corridor, a wide
Yes.
corridor that had these kind of chairs. And there was a photo of that area that showed what these chairs actually looked like.
Oh, and don't forget
And,
these chairs are all over the forward grand staircase as well.
Mhm.
People don't
And
realize that,
the
but they will.
tape, yeah, and the tables were showing there too, but their coloring was a mystery. And then we later we found these color photos that showed one of these tables left over from Olympic.
We found
Where's everyone from in the chat, by the way?
I'm from Minnesota.
I know you're not,
Oh yeah, I got.
and I'm
I
not
got
asking you anyway.
I got it wrong. I'm from Massachusetts. Sorry.
Because I'm
I'm
actually,
from Indiana.
I see people asking, "Hey Tom, if you ever go to Europe," and then at that point I stopped reading. But I'm going to Europe next week.
Good luck
So.
over there.
Thank you, Matthew. New York, Germany, Nevada, Minnesota, Brazil, Denver, Colorado. I just got a phone call from Denver, Colorado.
It was
USA,
them.
UK, North. Oh my gosh, I can't read this so fast. I saw Croatia, Northern Ireland. Oh my gosh, Brazil, Pennsylvania. It's my state. Get out. Edinburgh, Scotland, Georgia. Is that the state or the country? Germany, Turkey, Louisiana, West Virginia, Canada, New Jersey, Australia, New Zealand, Netherlands, Brazil, Portugal, Florida, Canada, Philadelphia. Hey. Oh, Jesus is from Philadelphia. I thought he was from the Middle East. Sweden. Sweden's a cool country. Manchester, Finland, Manchester again. Scotland, United Kingdom, the UK, India, San Diego,
supposed to write
Holland.
this all down?
Country, I hope. Sweden, Australia, Arizona, My dad. Only kind of half from your dad. India, Latvia, Sweden, Halifax, Arizona. A lot of Swedish people here. That's pretty cool.
Is anyone
Portugal.
around Cutler's Hall in Sheffield?
Lithuania, Thailand, Brazil, the moon. No, you're
Uh,
not. I believe you. Chicago,
I used
Wisconsin.
to.
Tom, what happened to Lego Titanic? Oh, Lego Titanic was a video I did a while ago. Someone flagged it because they found it offensive and YouTube didn't question it, so they deleted it.
I got
Maryland.
It. Yes, it worked.
Denmark. Macedonia. Oh, that's cool. Hungary.
Oh, I like this corridor.
I used to live in Arizona at one point.
Tasmania. Belfast. All right, cool. Southampton. Awesome. Someone's
Oh,
from
Tower.
originally Sheffield. Actually, we do have a question for anyone from Sheffield or near Sheffield, United Kingdom, England. Oh, Estonia. That's cool. Serbia. Ooh, like Vlad. Anyway, anyone from Sheffield, Matt, why don't you say your request, please?
Oh, email us.
Yeah, just send us an email, contact at vintagedigitalrev.com.
Say you're in near Sheffield, England.
We have a special assignment for you. Mission is yours, should you choose to accept it. Slovakia, awesome, beautiful country.
I think it's Sheffield. I hope it is. Am I right? We almost went there. Okay.
Yeah, Sheffield. It was Sheffield.
Okay,
It
good.
was Cutler's Hall.
I'm going in.
Going in?
Go in.
Go
Go
in.
into the room.
In the
Oh
Cafe
wow! Look at that.
Parisien. Oh man, Paris was a beautiful city. I was there for 9 hours. And this is the Cafe Parisien, that's why I mention it.
You're there again. There you are.
Oh, there's the big cheese.
Is that why you put me in the Parisian Cafe?
Why?
I bet Paris does smell like cheese.
No,
it doesn't.
the cheese had nothing to do with it.
Well, anyone near Sheffield, please email us.
It'd
Where
be-
am I going
It'd be
in
useful.
Europe? I'm going to be in Prague. Praha. Czech Republic. This is a beautiful room. This is an absolutely beautiful room.
I didn't think it was gonna have ivy in time.
It would look. Shame we didn't get the new water in there. That would look even better.
Oh, that's true.
Well, we do have new water eventually, but just not by
Not
the
in
time
this-
we did the public
Not in
release.
this
Yeah.
public demo, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah, plates. I'm gonna go to the other plates so I can see closer.
I'll be right back, guys, okay?
Okay.
Alright, excuse me.
It's up to Kyle then to talk about this room. Okay, here we go.
The furniture was
Oh, I hate
furniture was very tedious.
Let everyone,
I
let
hate-
everyone
I
know
hate
that
wicker-
we hate wicker furniture. In the Titanic, and
Wicker furniture,
and the
it's-
Edwardians loved their wicker and cane furniture. There's still like a ton of wicker furniture on the Titanic in cabins that are left to do. Well, not a ton, Kyle. There's just like private promenade finished, and then there's like
Well, you know
3
what?
variations in cabins. But yes.
You know what? Let's just people. Can you help us get funded so that we can pay other people to make these pieces of furniture, so I don't have to do it? I think that would be nice.
Because at a certain
I
point,
see a dog.
I just give Kyle like a bunch of pictures and be like, here's the furniture. Go ahead. That's what happens. I made these chairs once. I made a version of them and gave them to you. They weren't very
You
good.
did. You
They
did.
weren't good.
Yeah, I completely remade them.
Yeah.
That
My
was almost
tables were
pretty much.
okay, I think.
Why the color choice? What's the color choice? What do we do the color choice for?
Oh, I don't know. It was a tedious process. I think it might it ad adjusted.
I'm back.
I know we like the carpet color.
Here,
choice.
have some pizza.
I don't have any food.
I wish.
But I
I'm
think-
starving.
I think it's gonna be changed to a beigey color.
Kyle, you do realize that we can only see your forehead, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You can only see my forehead.
And the
What
wood
about the
is-
top of my head?
It's raw exposed wood. It's not finished wood because in the foot. I'm just gonna stop right. Wait a
Yeah,
wait
just
a
stop.
sec.
Be quiet right now. Shh, shh, shh. much secrets.
Which
What?
demo is this? Oh no,
Nothing.
there's the carpentry details in the wood. Okay, good. And there's the what's this Greek key pattern
Mhm.
on the plates? This is very.
I love
nice.
that pattern.
Yes.
It's a great pattern.
Look, you can see the ivy moving slightly.
Yeah, and the wind. That's an amazing
Yes,
effect. This
windows
is gonna
are
be an
open.
awesome game. Thank you.
The windows are open. Is there still a hole in the wall? Nope, this has been fixed. Good. There's a gigantic.
What hole in the wall?
There's a hole in the wall. Show us the hole in the wall. And there's a
What
giant
hole?
wine cooler. Is that what they're called?
This is the wrong part of the ship for that. What? Yeah, that's a
champagne
wine.
bucket. That's all.
Yes, champagne bucket.
We saw one of those in England. In a shed.
We did. That's in that guy's shed.
He was awesome.
All right, people are still asking. Why do we need Sheffield? Just email us. We'll let you know. There's something near Sheffield that we need photographs of. Actually, in Sheffield that we need photographs of. So, if you live near there, send us an email. We'll send you specifics. Thank you, and good night.
And we'll take you out to breakfast.
Maybe.
Well, here's the breakfast menu.
There's the breakfast.
Oh,
menu.
hey, you're near
I
my
just-
favorite.
Can I just pause everyone for a moment? Stay on that menu.
Yeah.
I love the English breakfast. I simply love the English breakfast. Every time I go to England, that is the thing I look forward to the most.
He
Those
only stayed at
bacon-
places that had an authentic English breakfast that was also included in the ticket.
What do you mean?
When we stayed at any place in England that you made sure it was a boarding house that had the authentic breakfast
Yes.
included.
My basis for where we stayed was entirely hinging upon whether or not they served the English breakfast.
Which is why
you
I'm
know,
confused with Prague. You picked a place that doesn't have a good review for breakfast.
well, that's because traditional Prague breakfast, I don't know.
So you should pick one that's good so you can get a... Okay, anyway, continue.
I know the city of Prague like the back of my hand. We'll find a better place. Anyway, the English breakfast with the back bacon and the fried egg and the toast triangle and the beans.
I must
And the
say,
sauce.
I know less about the American breakfast than I do about the English breakfast here.
Really? What's on the American breakfast? I can't make that out.
What's minced
too low
collops?
Pass, thank you.
C-O-L-L-O-P-S. What? Pass? You don't
Yeah,
know,
I'm gonna pass on that one.
You know what minced collops are? I don't know if it's I don't think it's a mistake. Nicholas wouldn't make a mistake, so I don't know.
No,
what
it's not a
minced-
mistake. It sounds like a real thing. I just don't know it.
Yeah. Minced collops. I don't know what that. I thought it was scallops, but no, that doesn't. I don't know what that is.
Let me demonstrate just how much I
Who
love
says it's not scallops?
breakfast. Excuse me for einen Moment, bitte.
All right, I'm gonna leave that alone now. Can we go into the restaurant now? Wait, he left. I'm going in the restaurant.
Let's go there quickly.
Okay, quickly. Let's go into the office and steal all the money. Oh, we can't get in. There's a safe right there behind this wall. This half bulkhead. There is a
Just
safe.
left.
I'll let everybody know right now, who's listening out there.
There's a safe.
There's a
Let's
safe
let's
right
send Bill
behind there.
Paxton to get it.
But yeah, it's already been recovered. That's the problem. It's in the artifact
Oh,
exhibit.
alright.
Yeah, so if you ever see a safe on display and it has that little like gold like medallion as part of the exhibit and it has like the fancy like this thing on it, the logo of the company, it's probably from right there. Because the other safe that doesn't have that is from the second class purchase office, but the gold one is from right here. There's a safe. Because there's only this is where the ship that was destroyed and broke apart, and this is where that safe.
Sorry
is.
about that. I can't find it, but
Oh.
I mailed
Oh,
a
Matt.
postcard of to myself of the English breakfast last time I was in London.
Ah, did you? That's interesting.
You remember it? You were there.
Ah, really? Yeah, I was.
Yeah, it was a breakfast.
Okay, yeah.
Fantastic.
Ah, we were waiting outside of the restaurant to go inside until you got back.
Yeah.
We were waiting to go into the
Oh, well,
restaurant.
thank you.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it is actually rude to go in and start eating before your entire party is there.
I know. Who would do such a thing?
Certainly not on Titanic.
Yeah.
Oh, stop
You know,
it.
it's Go into that restaurant, Matt.
All right.
Get into the restaurant. Look at first things first. Look
Do I have,
right
do I have
up.
a reservation? Look right up.
Oh, that looks cool too. But all right, look down a little bit. Now you see that little bracket on the ceiling beam.
Oh,
Go and
the
kind of look
fancy.
at that.
The
Walk
fancy.
up to walk up to that a little bit and kind of go back a little bit,
Jump.
back more,
Climb it.
back more. I mean more further aft. I mean,
Oh,
and
aft.
stay along the counter.
Okay.
Stay on the counter, and
Yeah.
then look at that bracket. Just look at that whole area, the bracket and the light fixture and the wall panel. I love that whole spot there. All the detail,
Kind of
all the
project.
Oh
little
yeah.
details.
Well, first off, it's a beautiful area to begin with. Like the carvings and the design of it is just fantastic. But the way that it's modeled in the game, I believe, really does it justice. I think both you two did a fantastic job on it. And
And
of course,
hey,
the engine does a great job with the lighting.
hey, Tom, we can
What's
hear
up?
you on the Facebook call too.
Lucky you. There we go. It's taken care of.
There.
We actually just got an email from someone near Sheffield. I'm going to look at that after the call. Thank you for contacting us.
But yeah, shout out to Nicholas as well for being a trooper and like really turning out those bump maps
Yeah,
for
you know.
these for a lot of these things.
Yeah, everyone did a lot in this room.
Except me.
You must have done something.
Oh, also the wood textures.
Yeah, that's true. Like all the wood and because the grains, the pattern of the grain and the way it goes is different for each panel, and there's like, gosh,
Yeah, you see, that's the
12
thing about
panels?
this game.
they're
That's the thing about this game.
12
You-
unique panels.
The carvings are individual. The wood panels are individual. Everything is really like custom made because the ship was obviously custom made and handmade all around. This was before they had production lines and things like that. So, I mean, we can't
And then there's this
go
too.
as minute as we'd like to, but we do have that handmade feel to this entire ship we've done so far. And that's at least first class. Once you start getting into the lower classes, it gets a little harder to do that. But
Right.
you've seen first class, you've seen a little bit of third class, so
And luckily, this is the part where it matters and it stands
Yes.
out. Once you get lower
Exactly.
down, it gets rather.
Ken is
It gets simple.
Ken is in here. Can we go to him?
We will, yeah. Thank goodness we did this
Also-
in the end of summer when everyone wasn't in their jobs. Like Nicholas works as a teacher in France. He doesn't actually. Nicholas is one of the few people, besides like us mainly, who doesn't get paid, who we don't pay to work on this. So he does this just because he loves to do it. But eventually, once we get fully funded, he'll be brought on board. Obviously, I made a pun. And
So many questions about me.
and
Sorry, go on. I didn't mean to interrupt.
yeah, I'm just saying like that's part of the dedication to this whole thing is that he did his last few weeks of freedom before he went back to work in the public school system of France was creating all the textures for this room basically.
Why are so many people asking my age? I'm not 40. I'm 25.
There's Ken.
There's Kenny boy.
There's Ken.
Kenny. So anyway, yeah, this is probably my favorite room of the entire demo.
Recently, I have to tell you guys
Yes?
something I didn't. Recently, Chris was watching Boardwalk Empire.
Oh.
And he spotted an Olympic restaurant chair in the show. And he sent me a
Really?
picture, and I was like, "Oh, that looks just like it." And I looked closer at it, and I looked closer at it, and I was like, "That it has to be an Olympic chair because it also had the thing underneath between the legs that held the peg into the deck." And I was like, they wouldn't just put that on any other chair if it wasn't something that would connect to the deck. So I looked, and it just has to be an Olympic chair. It was reupholstered with leather, which they did. So, but still, I was just like, what the heck? What are the chances of that? But yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if they know they had,
Huh.
set design, set decorators. They buy antiques and stuff for productions sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll be surprised where you'll find little things from the Olympic class liners and Titanic every once in a while.
Yes.
I just love the woodwork in this room. It's just beautiful wood. The color, the way the panels have the alternating light and
walnuts.
darks, and the gold detailing.
Mm-hmm.
The gold
It would
detailing just looks great.
It actually really matches the desk I'm sitting at right now, which is a wooden desk from I think the 1910s or 1920s, and it has the same diamond cut on the drawers, and it's really nice. In fact, if we didn't do this room already, I would have offered my desk photographs as textures.
I don't know if I've ever looked at it like this. That's neat.
Someone's asking if we know where the kennel was. Yes, we know exactly where the kennel was. In fact, I think we already have... Do we have it built already, guys?
No.
No.
It's not going to be very special either, so... It's just going to be a room.
Why? Why do you guys want to know so badly what I'm drinking? It's water.
It's Kool-Aid.
Look at that mirror reflecting the room. Where am I, though? I'm a ghost. Or I'm a vampire. There's another cartel clock. That's the same one, but...
You're a vampire. Well, better watch out for Buffy.
Hey, what height is the camera at? I think it's just the default height that comes with the engine, which I think is like 5.8 or something. Or 5 feet 8 inches.
Also notice the fans throughout the room because these rooms will get quite hot on Olympic.
I got a whole bottle right here. Don't stop asking about the wine.
I like this.
There's plenty to go around for me.
Where what we call in the business God beams.
What is that?
God beams.
What are you referring to?
The light beams coming.
The
through.
beams that come from
Oh,
the sky
yes.
and destroy everything.
Yes.
Yes. Where I just lost him as I said it, of course. So I guess I upset somebody up there. All right.
Tom is a vampire.
They are beautiful. I love how they shine right through the window of the cafe and then into the restaurant. I love how it continues right on through into the center of the ship. It's really beautiful. People are asking if we're going to do a real-time Lusitania sinking. Why doesn't Kyle answer that one?
I don't want to do any more animations, darn it. The keyframing is driving me crazy.
It's real-time Matt DeWinkler sinking right now.
Yeah, let's just do a real-time Matt DeWinkler syncing. I think that would be
very
easier
slow
on
and
my
painful,
fingers.
Be really slow and painful.
Yeah, it would be. It would be.
The marble in this room is Fleur de Peche.
Thank you, Matt.
Welcome.
By the way, I'm seeing a lot of questions here in the chat, and if we're not
I
answering them,
I
there's a
can't
reason.
see them. I'm doing all this.
Don't worry.
Read them to
Don't
me.
worry.
Yeah, you're.
Well, one has probably asked about 20 times if the Carpathia will be explorable, and I'm not answering that because we can't say for sure yet. I mean, it's not off the table. It's actually something we really want to do. Obviously not the whole Carpathia, but a room or two. However, we can't confirm this until we do it. So we're not saying no, but at the same time, we can't say yes, definitely. Because if we say yes, definitely, and then it turns out we don't have the opportunity to do it, then a whole bunch of people are going to be disappointed, and we'll probably even be accused of lying. So we're not going to confirm anything. Will the engines actually move? Oh, I sure as hope so, or else the ship's not getting anywhere. That's a good question, thank you. Railroad preserver.
The engines will look amazing when they're moving. We'll get to see the, like we could see the boiler rooms and the engines in operation.
Well,
The engines would be fantastic.
They're actually easy to do. In fact,
Yeah.
the Titanic Adventure Out of Time team, when they did it, they almost had animated engines. They cut it because they decided to do pre-rendered stuff, but they were going to have animated engines.
You can almost tell that they were going to be because things that are animated back then, they stand out more than the still life or the stationary things.
Someone's asking the biggest question of all time: how historically accurate is this? It's it. This is it. This is what the Titanic was. This
This
is
is
it.
as close as you're gonna get.
Yes.
This is it.
I guess so.
In fact, this is so close that whenever a Titanic 2 project comes up, they say, "Hey, you need to help us." So, This is
I
authentic.
mean, yeah, and you know, and look at that, and you know, if you go over and look at the little podium that's at the entrance to the restaurant, I mean, you know, even and like even that is going to be, even that's going to be slightly different in the end, and it's just like we just look at every detail and we're going to make it like this is going to be it. This
Yeah,
is if you want to know
we
what
got the feet
something on the
wrong being
Titanic
discovered,
looks
so we have
like.
to change it.
We've been talking
Yeah.
with the top historians, Bill Souter, Park Stevenson, Ken Marshall, Dan Clistener, and then a few others as well who have been helping us with resources and details and plans and photography and textures and fabrics and all sorts of
This
stuff.
is just to get it to look accurate.
I know, and then once it's all looking accurate, then we're gonna bring it to life even further by having people in it, and the sailors are gonna do the proper procedure for how to operate this stuff. The waiters are gonna be doing the proper stuff. So, yeah, there's all that stuff. Someone's asking if the replica in China is an exact replica. All I say to that is LOL. No, it is not. Thank you. Good night.
Matt, I forgot, did you look at the book and say anything about it?
Can we see the book? I don't know if we can see the book.
Mm-mm. You
I don't
can't zoom
believe
in on it.
So
I got so upset about that. There's the book.
explain the book though.
All right.
Yes.
So obviously, when you enter a restaurant, and if it's a high-end, hoity-toity, fancy restaurant, where you
Right.
have to wear a fancy shirt and you can't wear shorts, sometimes there's a desk in if there's a desk in front that you're faced with a waiter or a maitre d, a waiter's desk. This is right here, and so it's known as the waiter's desk, and someone would be standing in front of it, behind it rather, and say, "Do you have a reservation?" And they would look in their little reservation book for your name and your party number in your party and the number in your party, the number of guests for your table. And so we knew we had to have a book with a number of passengers who are going to be in the room for, I think this is for luncheon on Tuesday, nope, Friday, 12th of April. I should know the Titanic's dates, 1912. So you can't really see it here, but on the left side is a list of passengers. A lot of them are historically accurate passengers, but some of them are not historically accurate. The list is made up of a bunch of historians who are helping the project, the advisors, but also everybody who contributed to building this, like the modelers, the texture artists, you know.
There's a few historians in there too.
Yeah, I said that.
Oh, what's going on?
Advisor. So like there's Ken Marshall's in there, Parks is in there, Dan, Bill, we're in there obviously, and I think like Tom, you're in there and you're having like a party of 7 or something. So
Of course,
So
as
you're-
to be expected.
Well,
so
Tom-
you're like in the big
Tom
table.
has the wine. He has
All
the
the
party.
pretty ladies. People are asking what wine I'm drinking. I'll address that when we're done talking about the room.
It's nothing fancy.
And
How do you
there's
know?
not going to be a Jack
How do you
in a
know,
Rose.
Matt?
Stop asking.
No,
there's-
actually, some people are asking if there's going to be references to Jack and Rose. There actually might be. We want to do references to every Titanic form of media, whether it be a film or a video game in the past, or maybe even some of the significant books, because they all kind of helped foster our love for the Titanic, or the love of our team members for the Titanic. So even
Right.
Jack and Rose might have a reference. Obviously, Jack and Rose are not going to be in this because they're not real and it's not authentic, but there might be a little joke that if you've seen the movie, you'll get it, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to mute for a moment. My dogs are about to go wild, so
Okay, good.
if I suddenly cut out, that's why. But yeah, we're gonna have references to these. We're gonna have references to James Cameron's Titanic, references to A Night to Remember, Titanic from 1953, SOS Titanic,
Side adventure.
or
Raise the
maybe
Titanic. We could have
Titanic:
a
The
little.
Legend Goes On, or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, we
All
could
right,
have the
I'm
Raise the
cutting off.
Titanic thing.
Here's
We could just stick a bit of what's that stuff in Raise the Titanic? Byzantium. We could have a little bit of that somewhere in the cargo hold, maybe
Yes.
over in the. We could put it in the specie room.
Well, don't give away the Easter eggs. We gotta find them. I mean, we haven't made a list of everything, but I have some ideas. Yes. Otherwise, I think Series Titanic is
Given
gonna be more.
Nazi Titanic, I don't even know how we would reference that.
I have an idea with that one. I'll talk about it later. And it won't involve like anything offensive. It's time to go up. To
I'm
the last
wondering
level.
about that.
It's time to go up. I think it's okay that we didn't include the top level of the forward grand staircase when we included the top level of the aft grand staircase.
Yeah, well,
Because it's kind
save.
because you have a dome. It's just as impressive.
Just save the grandest level for, later.
You just can't see the clock. And I mean, is the clock Honor and Glory really that important to our game, Titanic Honor and Glory?
Nah, who cares about it?
Not really, no. There's not like there's any like symbolism involved or anything like that to the story. There's nothing like that at all.
Nah, that's not special. Nobody cares about the clock. I mean,
Nothing big.
never seen the clock.
Nothing big happens there in the game. Nothing like that.
Nothing. No media has ever even mentioned or shown it. It's never happened. It doesn't exist. There's no clock. It's all fake. It's hologram.
I always get surprised when I come up to this level of the aft grand staircase, though.
It really does look beautiful. Oh, Matt, go to the other side. The aft starboard side corner of this room.
Wait, this is the port side then.
Yeah, go to the. It could probably work either side, but just go to the other side. Actually, yeah, the other side will probably work better.
Okay, that's where I was going to.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm not looking at your current screen.
Don't worry, I am back now.
There you are. Now kind of look toward the staircase there. Yeah, a little bit there. Yeah, doesn't that look nice?
Yes, it does look nice.
Look at that. You can walk a little bit closer to it. But yeah, like the combination of the daylight with the lights and just look at the ceiling and the light fixtures and the way everything looks and the wood, and it just has a nice look to it.
It feels real.
Yeah.
It simply feels real. Like this legitimately feels like you're standing on the real Titanic, or at the very least a movie set, and you just got a camera with you. I feel like everything is so naturally done between the modeling and the textures done by you guys, or just the fantastic work of the engine, the combination of which. I feel like this is perfect. I would go so far as to say these are some of the best graphics I've ever seen. Ever. Thank you.
Thank you. I think it's weird how the lights look. I mean, some people would question us like why we have certain lights on and certain lights off. But this is based on photographs.
It is what it is. It is just. It is what it is.
They lit things in a certain way. They didn't. If you go on we like to compare Titanic to cruise ships of today. If you go on a cruise ship, they have tons of spotlights and accent lights on every sort of wall and artwork everywhere. On these ships, they only had lights on the ceiling or on the walls. They didn't have lights to highlight certain details. For example, there were no lights on the Titanic that would illuminate the funnels at night.
Yeah, there was no point to it.
No.
Excuse me.
Remember, the ships were a means of transportation, first and foremost.
I'll see if you can get a view down the well to the. Oh, wait, you kind of did there. There we go. You can see the little. You can see the little Pudo figures.
There's two little Pudo.
Little Pudos.
Ooh, I like looking at the balustrade there.
Sorry about that.
It looks nice. Which cabin do you want to go to first?
Andrews, of course.
Andrews, yeah, it's less important.
Why is there any question to that one? Yo, come here, girl. Can you guys hear me, or did I mute it?
I hear you. Oh, of course I hear you.
Goody goody.
This is Flemish glass.
I know, and it's really well done. You can't see through that at all, right? Like you'd be able to maybe see a silhouette.
Yeah, that's about it. And you can, of course, just see the light. That's it.
Well, the game
there would be
is
curtains as well. You don't have curtains.
the engine is not has no idea how to calculate Flemish glass. I mean, how many video games have actually done Flemish glass? So we're actually really doing a lot of firsts with this game, and that's gonna be really, really fun.
Oh, there's Dan.
There's Dan Clistener. This is Thomas Andrews' cabin. For those of you who do not know, Thomas Andrews was the chief architect and designer of the Titanic after his uncle retired, Lord Alexander Carlisle. Maybe not Lord, but
And this would be your basic
Anyway.
wardrobe in first class, found throughout
yes.
almost every cabin on the Titanic, except for
Really?
some of the fancier period suites, which would either have their own wardrobe room or they would have the wardrobe in the room that would be matching the style. But this would be it. This would be what your wardrobe would look like on the Titanic if you were in first class, either in oak or mahogany.
This one's oak, right?
This one's oak. Yep.
I think I like oak wood better, but I think I like the color of mahogany. Oak is just.
We have a lot of
it
oak in this demo. We don't have any mahogany, actually.
I know. Well, we don't show any other cabins apart from this one and its mirror image
Well,
on
actually,
the other side.
I take that back. We have mahogany, but it's all been painted white. So technically, we have mahogany, but they
Okay.
they went through this whole let's paint the wood white. They didn't. They used it because mahogany is a tougher wood, so that they knew that if it was something that would be bumped against and like banged up, it would like be able to handle it better than oak would. Because if you bump into oak, it wouldn't be like a shock absorber. It would show its damage. It wouldn't take abuse that well. But mahogany
Yes.
does. So like the reception room, for instance, is mahogany wood, but it's painted white. So are the elevator cabs inside the elevator. They're painted white, but they're mahogany wood. Now today, it would be a crime against humanity to paint mahogany because it's such a nice, expensive wood.
You know, there's a
That's
lot of things about the
mahogany.
way the Titanic was built that are technically crimes against humanity these days. For example, there's so many woods on this ship that they just don't do anymore. For example, teak. I heard teak is illegal on ships these days because it's a rare wood. You know, it's rainforest. So they are like, no, can't do that, bad for the environment. Whereas when they were building the Titanic, you could just do whatever you
Teak.
Think of all the animal
Windows.
glue in the furniture. Ooh.
Yeah.
All that coal being burned.
Oh yeah, Titanic totally is like responsible for 90% of carbon emissions of 1920.
I'm also walking on asbestos.
God, if the Titanic didn't sink, we'd already be drowning in all the floodwaters, the melted ice.
It's just a matter of time until the EPA shuts our game down.
Okay, so this is a room you'll be spending a lot of time in.
This is indeed a room you will be spending a lot of time in. This is your room, actually. This is the room of the player,
Eventually, yeah.
eventually. So,
Oh, look at the camera. Camera.
I know it's a camera.
yes, this is also the room of Father Francis Brown, who was not actually a father at the time. He was father as in Catholic priest, Jesuit priest, not a father daddy. But he was a priest in training and also an amateur photographer, and he stayed in this cabin. He disembarked in Queenstown, Ireland, and he took a lot of photographs. And as someone on YouTube, this one kid pointed out, and he's actually in the chat here, by the way, shout out to Jesse, the camera is positioned on the wardrobe in such a way that it's angled at the photograph that he took of that mirror. So he took this one photograph of the mirror, the wardrobe, the bed, and it was resting on the counter of the wash basin. And the camera was actually placed as he would have placed it. Although I think he would have held it vertically. You know, I think he would have flipped it
Probably
because the
would,
camera
yeah.
actually has a kickstand that you could fling out. I have a camera just like that. And it has a little kickstand at the bottom, so he probably would have cut the kickstand out, stood it upright, and click. Francis Brown was not related to Margaret Brown. In fact, Francis Brown, I think, had an E on the end of his name. Maybe I'm wrong. I might be wrong. I don't know. I add an E in the script because it's fun. What is the wood that covers
E.
the grand staircase? That's oak.
Yes.
Yeah, there's an E on Brown.
The majority of wood on the Titanic in first class, the wood in the grand staircase, the wood in the first class lounge, even the wood in the second class staircase and the wood in the second class smoking room is all the same type of oak. So it's all the same English light oak or medium oak. I don't know which one is which. Sorry.
Where did they get the wood from?
It's
Where did they import it from? England?
It's
Because England's kind
English.
of out of wood.
It's English. It's English oak.
People, you gotta stop asking about the wine I'm drinking. I mean, it's a...
This is also basic furniture from first class.
I can't say. Because it's all...
This is a baggage rack.
But they don't... They're not sponsoring us, so I'm not gonna give them a shout out. It's a nice French wine. Shh, from my collection.
And a
From my...
couple of these survived today. These dressing tables. Some. I
Yes,
think one from
they're
Olympic survived, and one from Britannic survives. Because it was never installed on Britannic. It was actually installed on Olympic, so it's technically from both ships. And these beds, this is a basic bed. Only around, I think it's only about, oh gosh, 2 feet 3 inches wide and 6 feet long.
It's like you're sleeping on a cot.
It is it's called a cot bed, so yes.
I
Is
just
it?
wonder how many of these beds are still floating around and how much stuff is still. This kind of an aside. It actually has nothing to do with the beds, but I was watching a show about mansions and big houses in Wales, and they talk about these houses. And the first house they talked about was, I think, Trevor Hall, somewhere in Wales.
Okay.
And the house was owned at one point by J.C. Edwards, who owned a tile company, a big tile company back in around
tile.
Titanic's time.
Where the money's at.
And when they mentioned that, I thought, I wonder if any of his tiles are used on the Titanic. And that at one point in the show, when they talk about him, they're like, yeah, and some of his tiles were even used on the Titanic. And I had to look that up, and it turned out it was the tiles in the pantry and galley.
Isn't it amazing how Titanic's just the benchmark for everything from that era?
Yes, it is, isn't
Like, if there's any sort of Titanic connection to anything, they will mention it. It's like, oh, he saw the Titanic leaving Southampton, coincidentally, as he was walking to the store. And then they'll mention it in a documentary. It's like, even if it's the most trivial of things.
Oh, I've never done this
Like,
before.
his second cousin of his wife's uncle was on the Titanic, they'll mention it.
I like it there, sorry.
That's beautiful there. It is beautiful there. I love it. The aft grand staircase is really nice because it's understated. It doesn't try to rival the forward one. And then this corridor we're in right now, which goes to the lounge, is...
Oh.
I love this one because it's so detailed. And the sunlight, of course, coming right on through.
It's important to note, though, that as impressive as this is, there are little details here and there on like in this corridor that haven't been finished yet. Like, there are various things in the wood grains and various elements of in the normal mapping, and there's a lot of stuff that needs to be added to the revolving doors. And there's still bits to do, and it'll look like, however it looks now, it's going to look even better. So that's
The same
just
with
an
the
example of how
staircases,
good
too,
everything
yes.
is.
Well, yes. There's a balance between my job and your job, and it's kind of fun sometimes. Sometimes it's tediously frustrating, but your job is to make this as authentic as possible. If you see even the most minor detail wrong, you guys want to fix it. My job is to say, come on, we got the whole rest of the ship to do. So it's kind of like a yin-yang balancing act that we try to do. I don't know why, but there's a lot of talk going on about wine in the chat. I don't know what's prompting you to talk about wine. It's not like it's in front of you or anything. But I will say this one cool fact. I went to the Titanic 2 gala in
There
New
I
York
am.
City. You know, the one hosted by Clive Palmer. And when I went in, there was a big banner hanging up, and it was advertising the wine company, the wine that was supplying the wine company that was supplying the wine for the gala. And they said the most expensive wine on earth. Also, the brand of wine supplied on the Titanic. Now, I don't know what the rule was for the most expensive brand of wine on earth, because I'm pretty sure there's some ridiculously expensive wines out there that won't even compare to what you can serve to a massive group of a couple thousand people. But they did advertise it like that, and it said that they were the ones who supplied the wine for the Titanic, and they are also the most expensive wine on earth. So I found that to be really truly interesting. I don't know who supplied Titanic's wine, but there was that in the Titanic 2 gala in New York City on the USS Intrepid, which I was at. Fun times. I got 2 tickets. I was supposed to go there with my girlfriend, but she couldn't make it because she was in Austria. How
It's not about
daunting.
the elevators.
Yes, we're at the elevators. I love these are cool. I like the designs of these elevators. I love the white walls and the red and blue tiling on the floor. It's just a really nice color combination. It feels Titanic. That's the best way I could put it. It feels Titanic. It feels like this is I don't know. It doesn't feel like a natural combination, but the simple fact that it's on the Titanic makes it suddenly feel Titanic styled.
I forgot. Are those the tiles from the smoke room or?
Yes, I believe so.
No,
Right, Matt? No.
they're a unique.
Oh, they're the.
They're unique.
They're
I mean,
they're
they're
the
they're,
tiles.
they're Turkish bath tiles, but they have the colors of the smoke room for this
Yeah.
area.
Yes.
A lot of going back and forth with Dan and Ken about these tiles. And Bill too. Yes.
You gotta
Yes.
love the linoleum tiles on here. Well, I think that you think of linoleum today as just linoleum. What is that? That was like a big deal back then. Linoleum tiles, lino tiles.
Did the elevators have Muzak playing?
No, they
No.
had speaking tubes.
Did they?
Yeah, it surprised me.
How did they have speaking tube?
I don't know. It's in the shipbuilder.
No.
Wait, are
Hang
you
on.
serious? They had
gotta
speaking
figure-
tubes?
I gotta figure out the physics of this, because how on earth could you connect a metal pipe to a moving elevator?
They had speaking.
Maybe it
tubes.
was a collapsible tube or
Maybe
a
it was a
hose or
hose.
something.
It was probably a hose, if anything, but I do not think that that's possible. Maybe it's just a telephone. Maybe they simply had a telephone with an electrical wire coming through the speaking tube, and the current would generate the sounds, and you hear that. Maybe they called that a speaking tube because they called
Yeah.
all sorts of random things, other random things at the time. So
Yeah,
there's
Matt,
no
if you can
way
find that,
at speaking tubes.
if you can find that, Matt, because I mean, the only way I can think of that being done is like maybe a collapsible telescoping tube, maybe
No,
something
that
like that.
wouldn't even work. A
Oh.
telescoping tube wouldn't even work. It would have to be a hose.
That's just something I read. You can talk to Bill about it. He probably.
Maybe it was just maybe
Bill Sauter can say
Yeah.
it's BS.
maybe it was just a string. It was a can phone.
It was a
Yeah, they
can
had a
line.
can on a string. There you
They
go.
give terrible reception. They never get that taught.
I tried making one of those when I was younger, and it just simply did not work.
It's almost quarter after 10, I think.
It is. Oh no, you're talking about the time. I don't know. Huh, you've been
Someone's
here a
asking
while.
if the expansion joints are in this. Yes, they actually are in this, and you can see the expansion joints in the corridor we were in on the
Don't
far side
talk
of the
about
ship.
the expansion.
They're there.
I was just there, so far away. It was a very shiny metal band.
Yeah, you
In the
saw it in that
Yes.
In the
corridor going
passenger
to the
area,
lounge.
it's a shiny brass plate on the deck.
Yes. Now, for those of you who haven't seen this before, you can actually go download our demo and play it on your own computer if you have a PC, and download it and explore all of these spaces that we're going through right now. If you go to our website, titanichg.com, and then go to the free demos section. I need food.
Well, are there any other
Someone
questions?
asks that. Yeah, someone asks, Lusitania had telephones. Why didn't Titanic have telephones in some of the cabins? Titanic actually did have telephones in some of the cabins.
She did.
In a lot of the first class cabins, especially on C deck, there were telephones. And you pick up the phone and it goes to a switchboard on the C deck grand staircase just behind it. And someone would answer the phone. It would.
Right over
I
there.
don't know who
Can't get
answer
to
the
it.
phone.
It's over there.
Yeah, if we could just go a foot further, you would see the room. Someone would answer it.
Switchboard is modeled too. That room is done.
Is it really?
Yes, I've shown it to you before.
You did? You gotta show me it again. I haven't even seen it yet.
No, it's like
Anyway, we pick up the phone. They say, boiler room.
they wouldn't
Or
call the
something like
boiler.
that. Yeah, they call the boiler room. No, they say, howdy. What can I do for you?
Molly
I don't
Brown
know.
wasn't in a suite. She wouldn't be able to say that.
They would ask for Klondike or something. No, they wouldn't.
Murray Hill, 3-1, Orphan 4, please.
Something like that. So they would pick it up, and then you would say, I'd like to talk to this room.
1 moment, please.
There you go.
And
Thank
you
you.
hear that like music from like the.
You hear Chuck Mangione. Chuck Mangione starts playing. No, the telephones on the Titanic, as well as the telephones on the Lusitania and the Mauritania and the Olympic, you couldn't call land. You could only call other parts of the ship. So you would be able to communicate with your friend in another cabin, or maybe he was not your friend. Maybe you just wanted to harass him. Go for it, I say. You call them up, and then you just ask, do you have Prince Albert in a can? Something like that. And then that's what you do. There's no communicating with land.
Someone asked, "What's the best preserved wood on the wreck?" Wouldn't that be like mahogany and teak?
It's teak.
Like in this room right now, in the Turkish bath.
It's
That's the best
teak-
preserved wood.
It's teak wood that touches steel.
Right.
Even some of the teak railing on the boat deck and A deck survives.
And of course, the teak in the Turkish bath here.
In the tiles, yes. There's a photograph taken from right here from one of James Cameron's Xboxes that
His Xbox is
his
yeah.
Xboxes, Xbots, of this room, and it looks just like this almost.
Right. There's actually a bot still inside the Titanic's.
There's a bot right here.
Someone asked, "How do the steward call buttons work?"
Let's find
You
a
press
steward.
it.
Let's find a steward call button. There's a bunch right here.
There you go. You just
You press
Press it.
You press one of these steward call buttons, and then, well,
well, it's very much
you gotta
it's
find a
very
steward
much
call
like a
button.
flight attendant box.
Yeah.
You press like on an airplane, you ding, and then they're sitting up in their little cabin up front, and they see, oh, the bell went off, and it would on the Titanic, it would be a little light that illuminates on the steward call box.
Imagine a
and-
box like this,
yes.
but it has like a bunch of lights and a buzzer and stuff, and it would I can't. Each light would have a little plaque under it that say like where that light is associated to. Like it would say like in this room, for instance, it could be like a light with a plaque that says like aft port corner, like right over here. So they know the person in this chair pushed that button and called for them to come. So they push the button on the call board saying like, okay, turn off that light, and they go over to the passenger to attend to them. And there are a lot of these steward call boxes throughout the ship.
I'm actually seeing a lot of interesting questions popping up. For example, did Titanic have room service like maids at like a hotel? Yes, actually it most certainly did. They weren't maids most of the time. They were not females. They were stewards mostly men. In fact, Titanic had a crew of almost 900 people, of which only 23 were female. So the stewards were the maid service, more or less, and they were all male. But in any case, they would bring room service, they would deliver food, they would bring anything you wanted to your cabin, or they would turn down your cabin, or, well, just anything you needed, they were there. They were your butler for the voyage.
Some of the few female crew members were in the Turkish bath because in
Yes.
1912, the sexes were divided, especially for something like the Turkish bath, which is basically a giant spa complex. So we'll look at these Turkish bath hours right here. You can see that they're available for ladies and gentlemen at different times, because how dare they intertwine at certain times when they're delicately dressed. So you have attendants for the men and you have attendants for the ladies. So some of the first class ladies would be attended to by female Turkish bath attendants, and then the men would be attended to by male Turkish bath attendants.
Mm-hmm.
And their cabins are down here.
Yes.
They're even labeled like female bath attendants. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I think it's like this one.
They
wouldn't call it,
they
like-
were paid by the White Star Line, but they also received tips quite often. So a lot of their income came from tips. So I personally prefer that system of economics, because you have to do a good job. If you do a good job, you get more money. And I personally think that that's the way it needs to be. So
How did the weighing machine work?
the weighing
I'll
machine, you
take a
sat
back
on it, and it stamped out how much you weighed in stone.
And then you go through the whole complex. You go through the hot bath, the warm bath, the steam room, etc., etc., and then you find out later by sitting on the chair when you're all done your next weight and how much you lost. Hopefully you lost a ton of weight, but you probably didn't lose that much at all.
Did the women only work in the baths? No. There were a couple of cashiers up in the restaurant that we were just in. There were a couple of stewardesses.
I think there are 2 matrons in third class, or maybe just 1. I know there's definitely 1, but I think there were 2.
The interesting fact about them is that the 2 cashiers and I think a clerk or someone were the only 3 employees from the 69 people who worked in the restaurant to survive.
Yes. Yes.
This one looks so
People are
nice.
asking, will we be able to explore those rooms? Or here I see, can we go into the gymnasium? You can go into any room on this ship. In this game, you can go into legitimately any room on this ship. And whether it be a cabin, or the room we're in right now, which is the reception room, or a pantry closet, anything will be explorable on the Titanic.
A linen locker, an electrical
Linen.
locker, the boiler rooms, the cargo
Yes.
holds,
Boiler room.
All of it. So
the 4th funnel.
that's one of the main goals of this game. We want to take the entire ship and model it. This is essentially Titanic 2. This is essentially the closest you'd get to a Titanic 2. And well, maybe.
I got a question for you.
What's up?
How much of the ship will be completed by 6:34 p.m. on December 19th, 2017?
What happens then?
That's my
I don't know.
birthday.
What happens?
That's my birthday.
Well, whatever happens then, we're going to collide with Destiny.
Ominous.
Yes. I don't know. I'm not a soothsayer.
I don't know.
Obviously, that was a movie reference, right?
Yes.
Okay, yes. I'm just making sure.
Hope so.
Yes. A lot. Ooh, can't say that, but yes. Darn it, can't say that. Really want to, but can't say that.
What were you gonna
Well,
say?
what did you want to say?
How can I tell you what that is without being able to say? I'll tell you later.
Tell us in coded words.
Whisper it. Blink it to us in Morse code.
Oh god, I'll be here for a while. Enough to make them happy.
Like that guy did in Vietnam.
Oh, did you mention why we put the piano on the other side of the room?
Because that's where it was.
No.
Why, is that being asked?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's where it is.
Yep.
The end. This is where it was found in the wreck of the RMS Titanic. I have no idea how many people are watching or listening.
300.
Oh, good. That's not too many. This is where the piano was found in the wreck by James Cameron. People who have seen the ROV footage can confirm it. It's not over there, and there's no way that this gigantic, huge thing, which was bolted down to the deck, floated all the way
It was bolted down. There's no moving
from
it.
this spot right here to the exact opposite mirror location over here.
Just imagine the journey that would take. I mean, if anything, it would be more likely to float out the broken end of the saloon than
Yes, because this,
make its way to that side of the
because
room.
this candelabrum right here has been found in the debris field, which means it was ripped out and torn out through either up the grand staircase and out, or through the back of the ship, while the piano remains over here. And this makes
Good
sense,
times.
actually, because
Mhm.
once you open up the piano, the music's going to
Mhm.
bounce in a way that it doesn't kill the rest of the instruments, which would be playing right around here. If it was Olympic had that problem, but originally Olympic had the piano in this corner of the reception room,
So we corrected that.
and the piano was facing
You corrected that.
and the piano, well, Harlan and Wolf did when they moved the piano on Titanic.
That's not what I mean.
Yes, but they couldn't. Who's this over here? Oh, it's Bill Sauter.
Billy.
Coming soon.
Picture not.
The biggest joke ever is because Bill's never given us a picture in with 3 years.
We have pictures of Bill. He just doesn't want us to use any of them.
Yes.
So we're leaving that temporary image coming soon up on our website, and it will probably never be changed. But that's just kind of an inside joke. That image there on the table is not coming soon, but
No, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, when we finally have the rat party for this game, and Bill comes to the party, he's gonna arrive, and his face will be a blur.
Yes. All right. So, are there any final questions of this area of the demo, or this demo rather, for the whole area that we've explored in first class?
Are there
first
other
class
places
demo?
we haven't gone yet?
I think we've gone throughout the whole thing. We've gone to the entire accessible levels of the forward grand staircase, up and down. We went to the Turkish bath. We went through the corridors. We went to the aft grand staircase. We went to the aft reception room on B deck and the restaurants, the cafe. We went to the 2 cabins on top in the lounge corridor.
Oh man, so many places. Why don't we open up demo 1? People don't seem to want to leave. I don't want to leave.
Why don't we open up demo 1? Because that's so easy to do.
Let's do it, Chiefy.
Let's see what happens. 'Cause I can
What would happen if one would open up demo 1 right abouts now?
let's see if I can figure that out while this happens. Okay.
By the way, everybody, please remember to contribute to our project. It's helping us keep going while I hunt investors, which is one of the most tedious and stressful things I've ever done in my life. So the contributions help keep this
Okay,
going.
it might be really loud at first, sorry.
I'll work on that.
Is everyone yelling at me for it being very loud?
Not yet. It's not up yet.
Okay. All right. Let me know if they can see it when it's time. I think I have it.
I see it.
All right.
They see it.
Can they still hear us? Everybody still
I
hear us?
sure as heck hope so. Anyway, yeah, so back to what I was saying.
Where'd
Please
anyone-
contribute on our website. Let me level with everyone here. Let me just be 100% blunt. The money that you guys contribute goes towards making this game. It goes towards software we gotta buy, research we gotta buy, all this stuff. And this is an incredibly expensive game. We're doing this digitally, yeah, so we save money. We don't have to do physical costs. But this is the kind of project that would have cost Clive Palmer in Australia about $500 million if he was building his physical Titanic. We're building the entire same thing digitally. It's expensive. The entire budget for the final game is $10 million. And on a regular basis every day for about 6 hours, basically a full-time job, I'm looking for investors. I'm talking with people who might have networking connections, might have connections that we need in order to find these people. I've gone to some of these investors so far. It's a long, tedious project, and if there are any entrepreneurs in our audience, they are certainly familiar with just how difficult it is to find angel investors, which is what they are called, to put in $10 million into a video game. So that is what I do. That is what I have been doing for the last long time, for the last over a year. And the contributions you guys give are helping us out to keep going so Matt and Kyle can keep building while I do the investors. Now, people are also bringing up, why don't you do PayPal? Well, we were doing PayPal for the longest time, but PayPal loves to report us to the IRS as personal income. And they want to charge us taxes on everything that comes in. They want to charge me taxes on everything that comes in when the money doesn't go to me, which is one of the biggest frustrations. So we're avoiding PayPal because they mislabel all of your contributions as personal income for me. Now, I wish this money was going to me, of course, but that's not right. So instead of having them demand taxes, for some reason they charge us the highest possible threshold. Instead of paying 33 or 45% or whatever it comes out to in taxes to the government, we're going through Swipe, which works with Visa. So we're trying to avoid PayPal because they want to take almost half of what everyone is contributing and giving it to the government.
Hey, soon we can just petition the government to give us a small loan of $1 million.
Yeah, I can talk to Trump and be like, hey, I need a small loan of $1 million. I've met him 3 times. I might as well next time I see him. Yeah, you would think donations would be tax deductible, but guess what? They're not.
It depends, but let's not get into that right now. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
Ah,
What?
I got sparked. Alright, so the main difference between the demos is down here anyway, so let's go down to what's different.
Are you in demo 1 already?
Yes. Has everyone been able to see it? Now you're worrying me. Okay.
They see it. They see it.
Okay.
By the way,
I hear.
a lot of people are jumping at the fact that I said that the entire game costs $10 million. And like I said, I am leveling with you guys. You guys have been with us from the start, so I'm telling you what's going on. And it's $10 million is not a lot for a video game. I mean, some of the other games, for example, Battlefield 1 was something like 500 million. So the
And
10 million
just
is not a lot.
production cost either.
Well, it's
It's full.
3/4 production cost. It's
Right.
1/4 promotion. So I mean, that's not a lot. We actually have a lot of people who are interested. We just got to negotiate. So, welcome to my life. The reason why I drink my wine right now.
It's the first time you admitted it's wine. Okay, here we are in Scotland Road.
It is wine. I've been saying it's wine. Anyway. Wow, did someone really just say you could buy 5 P-51 Mustangs for $10 million? You can't buy 5 P-51 Mustangs because the last P-51 Mustang I've seen online went for $3.45 million. Yes, I want to get a P-51 Mustang because I love that airplane. In fact, I've been in one and it's beautiful.
See,
It is
I'd rather see this area with lights from with these doors open and lights from each one of the crew cabins streaming through. I want to see this area alive instead of looking dead.
Speaking of the areas being alive, someone asked, will there be as many passengers in the final game as there were on the actual Titanic? And the answer is no,
It'll be
because
10 times as
in
many.
several ways. I mean,
10 times.
Wait a second.
we couldn't have as many people as the real ship because, I mean, on its own, that's just too many NPCs. We also couldn't model everyone individually.
Actually,
would-
technically. Actually, wait a moment. Well, here's the thing. We have about 200 and some odd characters that will be in the game based off of real life people. And those... Sorry, I'm distracted. I'm reading the comments. Those are real life
All
people.
of
They're
them will
being
be Penny
modeled,
Crinkle.
but then the rest are going to be generic. You know, I mean, we can only do about 200. That's our max before it gets unreasonable for the amount of money that we need. And those are all real life people. They're all based on stuff. And the rest is going to be filled in with generic characters that aren't specifically associated with any real life person. And that will be filling up the ship. That will give the illusion of there being literally 2.2 thousand people on board. No, we're not doing every last person. We're not doing all 2,200 people who were on the Titanic. Instead, we're doing 200 and then a whole bunch of generic people to fill in the background. I mean, this is a video game. Remember, this is a video game.
Look at
Most
that
video
pillar.
games don't even have that, so...
That's a nice pillar. Look at that pillar.
I like how the
It's
paint is on it,
beautiful.
actually.
Yeah,
paint
I love
is,
how
yeah,
you can go right. I love how you can go right up to a surface in these demos, and of course in the final game. And when you do, you see the actual brush strokes on the surface. It really feels handmade, and that's the ultimate thing that we need for this game. We want it to feel handmade all the way through, because Titanic really was handmade. It was handcrafted, and will you be modeling Hugh Woolner and Moritz Håkan Braunstrom Stephenson, the two men who jumped into the last lifeboat as it was launched? Maybe. Moritz is in it. I know Moritz is in it.
These are postcards that we've purchased for the time being. Even though afterwards
yeah.
we found the actual the actual drawings and illustrations. for some
I
of them.
actually, for some of these, I went to an antique shop that sold antique books and postcards, and I just went through and I found as many ships from the IMMC, right? And we just used those.
Here's one I always thought was ironic.
I spent like $100 on postcards. What do you find ironic?
See which line it's from?
The Leyland, the Red Star line?
The Leyland liner?
Well, that was the one that a lot of the survivors took back to England. Like the
The Californian was Leyland Line,
Yes.
wasn't it?
It was, yes.
Well, the Leyland line was part of the IMMC, and they took, after the U.S. inquiry, most of them were put on board the Lapland and sent back to England.
What ship's this? Is it?
All right, here's something real quick.
Agentic?
Some
Is this
people are asking what our thoughts are.
This ship is anachromatic.
Okay. Some people are asking what our thoughts are on the fire in the coal bunkers. Watch our podcast from yesterday. I was actually uploading it right before this chat,
Oh, okay.
right before this live stream, but I had to cancel it because the bandwidth. So, yeah.
This ship is period, but this illustration is not.
Okay.
This is from after the Titanic. This is when this ship was in the 20s. Just letting you know.
Uh-oh, gotta
Re-
fix that.
Restart the game. It's all ruined.
Yep, I guess so.
Gotta rebuild everything.
Gotta rebuild it all. We've ruined the game.
That picture is tied to the frame, which is attached to the walls, which is attached to the saloon, which is attached to everything else. Got to redo it all.
Never did get
Gotta
the
throw it away.
rules from Bill. Okay. Red Star Line. What other questions are there that we can answer in the next 15 minutes or so?
Oh, we just got a contribution. We got 2 contributions. Thank you,
The largest
everybody.
steamer is in the world. These are quite large and they are quite detailed. Stars are nice though.
Yes. An extra mention. If you guys want to contribute to the project and help us along, go to our website and click on the contributions button near the top and throw whatever you want at us.
You still get perks too. The
Remember, the
digital perks.
website is Titanic. Remember, the website is titanichg.com.
Yes.
Yeah, Skyline Road would be full of life. Actually, it's always in Adventure at a Time. It was a very dark and scary place, kind of like what we've set it up right here with this atmosphere, where it's nighttime and it's desolate. But there would almost always be people passing forward and aft along it, and doors would be opened for crew quarters. They would be letting, for ventilation and such. So if it was daytime, there'd be light streaming through from the side of the ship into the corridor. This would be a busy place, and it'd be like a mixing pot of different cultures from the third-class passengers making their way to the dining saloon. Sometimes there'd even be a huge line of passengers going in for dinner, because there's actually a queue separator right here. You can see where the railing and the chain would be along the decking right here. You can see it's detachable for when it's not necessary, because sometimes they have to like carry luggage and loads of different like shipboard materials.
Matt, what are those black
These black things which shouldn't actually be black, that
Yes.
Parks told us afterwards? They're hatches basically. Underneath
What do
here
they go
are
for?
they're for shipping the Kyle, help me out here.
They're for shipping like parts and
Parts for the boiler rooms?
machinery and things, and stuff like that. I guess.
You underneath it's like I said, it's a hatchway, but it would actually have been covered in decking as well. So you'd remove it, and underneath would be a separate like hatch area where you could ship machinery parts. I don't exactly remember if it's for the boiler room itself or if it's just larger equipment.
What will you? We've answered this before, but just because we're talking about it,
Can't read it.
what will you do for areas of the ship that there are no images for?
Oh God.
I will answer that quickly. Let me look at a good picture though of something. Here we go. There are always there's always a picture when there is not a picture. Because while there are almost no photographs of Titanic, there's probably, I think there's less than a dozen photographs of the interior of the Titanic. For example, there's no photographs of Titanic's grand staircase. They're all of Olympic. And that's the starting point where we base everything off of other photographs from other ships. We go to Olympic and we base it off of that. And if there's no photographs of a space on Olympic, then we go to either Britannic or another White Star Line ship built by Harlan and Wolff. And suddenly our collective pool of photographs goes from like 9 photographs of Titanic to about a couple hundred for Olympic, and then maybe almost 1,000 from Harlan Wolff White Star Line ships. So
And if we can't find a Harlan or Wolf ship, we go to the next best thing. We refer to the
is
Queen Mary a lot.
we could refer to the Queen Mary, even Lusitania, Aquitania, Mauritania. Those ships are.
I've
a long
raided the
time
Queen
of-
Mary a
yeah,
few times on behalf of this project.
yeah, you
I've
have.
stayed on the Queen Mary. First off, beautiful hotel. If any of you love ocean liners, I can safely assume that's most of you. Go out to the Queen Mary in Long Beach, California. It's a hotel now. It's an ocean liner from the 1920s or 30s, and you can stay on board for a small fortune and explore it. And you really do get the feeling of staying on one of these
Absolutely.
ships.
Someone said, "Will the gates and third class corridors be closed in the game?" Which is sort of
They
hard.
weren't
Yeah,
closed.
there were
That
no
did not
gates.
happen.
I mean, there weren't even really any like gates in the way. There weren't like you wouldn't encounter a gate every corner you turn. They didn't have that. They had doors separating it from other areas and a couple gates, I think, and
You would
down
find a
below.
locked door right here. This door, for instance, would be locked, and you wouldn't be able to get through. You'd find water seeping through it, but this would be like one of your locked doors. Ironically, where there is a gate is right here, but it wouldn't be closed. Sometimes this area right here is alternative use for first class or second class, depending
What's
on.
so funny, Tom?
I'm trying to teach a lesson of the Titanic. Anyway, this area could be used for first class or second class, depending on whether first class is underbooked or if second class is overbooked. These cabins could be used for second class, but you can't have second class mixing with first class, so they'd enclose this area with a gate right here that's hidden behind the paneling, turn off these light fixtures right here, and then second class is separated from first class. And they just simply turn off all these lights right here and not bring the elevators down to E-Deck, because first class wouldn't need the elevators. And this would all be used for second class. And of course they'd lock these doors if the cabins forward of here would be used for first class. But there's not that many locked gates in third class like in the movies. You'll find locked doors more than anything else.
Right. I'm sorry. I was laughing because someone insulted me, and it just really did not bother me. Anyway. I really had to laugh at it because it was funny. All right. So anyway.
Some of the furniture in here has changed from this demo to the last demo.
That's right.
We moved it around, besides the piano, which is good.
That's right.
Because this furniture isn't in permanent positions. Well, the heavy ones, like this giant this giant plush sofa is. But this is all just cane furniture that could be moved around at the mercy of the stewards.
Third class people were not allowed into the first and second class spaces, health regulations and so on. Also class.
Mm-hmm.
There's me.
Back to the gates real quick. They didn't do what everyone thinks they did. They were not there to keep third class from coming up to the boats or anything like that. They were mainly there for when the ship was in port, so that dock workers didn't break into the more valuable parts of the ship and steal stuff, which was incredibly common for the time, believe it or not.
Yeah, theft is a common thing that happened on ships.
Exactly.
Especially
In fact, there was a story. Yes, there was a story of the Titanic that was held up in Southampton, and I believe a bunch of Southampton dock workers literally just raided all the furniture off the ship at one night. Something like that. Maybe it wasn't the Titanic, but those gates were there to keep the dock workers from getting into those parts of the ship. They were not there to keep third class out. You could simply lock a door if you wanted to keep third class out of special parts. But when the Titanic was sinking, they were not trying to keep the third class down below. That was a misconception. What actually happened was Titanic didn't have proper translators for third class, and a lot of third class didn't speak English. So when the ship was going down, the crew quickly became overwhelmed with just evacuating the first and second class. You know, they were completely overwhelmed by this. And now they also had to deal with third class who didn't want to leave, who didn't want to leave their stuff behind, who didn't want to do any of this stuff, and they certainly didn't understand what the crew was saying half of the time. So a lot of the crew focused their attention on saving the passengers they could save, which were the first and second class. It was not because the first and second class paid more money. It was simply because the first class knew what to do in an evacuation. So that's where you get the idea of third class being abandoned and left below. It was because they were the more difficult people to save. And in the sinking situation, you have to play triage, basically, and you have to save the ones who are more easy to save. And that was first and second class. Now, if you actually look at the demographics of the sinking, second class suffered the worst. And I think that was because they were too balanced between two negative factors. First off, first class had the how do I describe this? You see, I feel like second class men, less than 10% survived, and that was the worst demographic of all on the Titanic. And I believe it was because they didn't push to survive, whereas at the same time they also weren't quite entitled to the lifeboats. I mean, not like first class was entitled to the lifeboats. It's more like first class just was closest to the lifeboats, so they got up there faster. So
They were polite.
only about 10% survived second class men. 30%, 30 or so, 29 I think, survived as third class men. So second class definitely suffered quite a lot. Although, at the same time, second-class children had 100% survival, and I think that was the only demographic that had 100% survival on the Titanic. If you break it up between men, women, and children, first, second, third, and crew, the only demographic to survive 100% was second-class children. In fact, not even first-class children had 100% survival. There was one first-class child who died, and her name was Lorraine Allison. She was a 3-year-old Canadian girl. And the only reason she died was because her family spent the whole sinking looking for their baby, Trevor, who already got off in a lifeboat with the maid. So.
Whoa.
What's up?
I'm standing in a cool spot, that's all.
I can't even see the screen. Hang on. Oh, I see it. I guess. That's cool. You can really see the mark. Yes.
And the key to the world.
That's a cool, like, bird's eye view, sort of. What? Is there any other final questions?
I think I just got disconnected from the chat.
Oh, really? That's too bad.
I know. I think I banned myself.
That's unfortunate.
Maybe one decided that they group banned you. They got together.
Yeah, there you go. I'm good. It was just my connection.
And in 10 minutes, we'll be in this as long as it took Titanic to sink.
This is a cool little spot I found.
It's a cool spot indeed. Where did the coal workers sleep? You mean the stokers and the trimmers and all that? They were mainly in the bow, I believe, under the forecastle.
Yes. Because they were dirty.
People are asking if we could please Update the progress plan. We did, actually. We did the other day.
There's a certain point where it doesn't get that updated as things are just refurbished, more or less. Not refurbished, that's not the right word. This fine-tuning happens, and there's a bottlenecking of certain areas. Trust me, corridors get really tedious.
There's a lot of discussion going on about my facial hair. See, this is a very interesting discussion for me because I have not yet made up my mind as to how I like my facial hair. You see, I'm going for the Clark Gable, Howard Hughes kind of look right now.
See,
But
now
at the
it's
same time,
7:30, and I'm pretty sure we can end this podcast when it's starting to talk about Tom's facial hair.
Yeah, it's time to go.
Yes.
see, it's
No.
still a variable for me. I haven't yet decided. So go ahead, continue your conversation. I'm learning here. Thank you. I appreciate it. See, I also don't like this part of my hair because I don't know which way it's supposed to go. Does it go back? Does it go down? Good question. Oh dear. Chop the stash. Jesus just told me to chop the stash.
It was smart.
Jesus, he's a
Oh.
pretty wise guy. There's lots of books written about him. Grow my facial hair long again. No, see, the problem is it's kind of red, so it doesn't look all that good.
Are there any
Make Tom's facial hair long again.
Are there any final Titanic questions before we wrap up this? Because there's going to be another
I'm legitimately
podcast
reading.
thing about that we're going to have just a question and answers session where we'll answer Titanic questions, game questions, whatever questions. Hopefully not questions about Tom's hair, but there'll be just
Well, hold on.
questions and
Questions
answers.
about my hair are welcome. I will address those.
Well, there'll be a personal session afterwards, but yes.
No, I'm just joking, guys. All right, someone was asking if the wreck is going to be in the game. The wreck will not be in the game. The wrecking, the sinking, will be in the game. But the wreck site will more than likely not be in the actual game.
No.
Unless we get someone who pops up and says, "Hey guys, I'm going to give you the full 10 million, but you got to include the wreck," then yeah, we'll certainly happily accommodate them. But
That's suddenly a lot more work.
that's suddenly a lot more work. Someone's asking if we're going to do a Lusitania real time. I'm not going to address that because I can't answer that. But at the same time, I will address one thing about that. The real-time syncing videos that we have done, first the Titanic and then the Britannic, those were minimal amounts of work. They don't exactly detract us from the progress on the actual game. The Titanic we already did for the game, because that was more or less pre-visualization. We had to calculate that so that we know what the actual game is going to do. And that was draft 1, by the way. We revised it a lot since then. There's a far better version that we have, but
With people.
with people on it. Anyway, we released that for a podcast. That literally just took a week. Britannic we did because we wanted to do something nice for the Britannic's anniversary, the 100th anniversary, which is what we made that for. And that really didn't take all that much time. We did a live stream of it, and in that we said it was kind of 4 weeks, but we only really put about 1 week's worth of effort in. So these don't really take too much time away from our actual production, and the only money we spend on these real times are on things that we need for the final game anyway. For example, we have to buy something eventually for the game, but we also need it for the real-time Britannic, so we might as well buy it now. It's that kind of thing. So we're spending money on the Britannic, but at the same time it's things that benefit the Titanic game, the final game. So people are asking if we're going to do a Lusitania. I would love to, but I can't say yes. Simple as that. And we're not going to do Beyond. We're not gonna keep doing. We're not taking requests for more real time. I'd love to do a Lusitania, maybe Empress of Ireland. We're not expanding beyond that. We're not gonna do Bismarck or Andrea Doria or Costa Concordia. None of that stuff. We do have to make a game. The only ones actually possibly on the table are Lusitania and the Empress because they kind of relate, and at the same time they're not difficult. But remember, guys, we have to make a game. We have to make Titanic honor and glory here. So that's our priority. These real-time videos are just fun breaks for us. Wow, lots of stuff. Why?
Well, not really
Stop
fun for
talking about
me.
me, people. Stop talking about me, everybody. I'm not an interesting subject. Kyle absolutely loves making these real-time videos.
I hate making real-time videos.
It's
The
Kyle's
worst.
favorite things to do. His second
Please,
favorite.
guys, please
right
stop
after
asking
making
us to
Hot
make real
Pockets.
times. Stop it. You're giving him ideas.
His first favorite thing to do is make Hot Pockets. His second favorite thing to do is make real-time.
I haven't made a hot pocket in weeks.
Ooh, you gotta fix that. You know what else you haven't done in weeks? You haven't made a real-time video. So,
No.
anyway, guys. All right. Thank you all for joining us. We're going to be doing a Q&A podcast on Thursday. Not tomorrow. I got a thing. But we're going to be doing a Q&A podcast where we will be addressing most of these questions. We might do it on MixLR, which is our podcast site, or we might do it right here live on the YouTubes. I haven't yet figured that out yet. What?
Probably this YouTube thing again.
You want to do YouTube?
Yeah.
We do get more listeners. We get far more. We had about 300 and some here. We had 600 yesterday. And on MixLR, no, we had 600 2 days ago. On MixLR, we usually only have about 150.
And that's when it's that's when it's like a big subject. If it's, we might only get 100 or so. If we just do like a little Q&A.
So join us
Maybe 150.
tomorrow. We are going to do a Q&A. Not tomorrow. Sorry. Join us Thursday. We're going to do a Q&A. It's either going to be 5 or 6 p.m. Eastern time in America. It's probably going to be here on the YouTubes. You might even see us because we're somewhat vain, and we'll see what happens. All right, people keep asking about wine. I've seen the same copy and paste message. What brand of wine are you drinking, Tom? Well, I'm not drinking wine. I'm not drinking anymore. I've stopped. I've moved on to my water bottle. Gracias. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Have lots of good questions for us. We'll answer everything.
Yeah, make sure to. One of the things that we want to do is we might not actually take live questions. We're thinking of pre-making a list. So if you guys do have any questions, send it to us on Bookface and in a private message on the Facebook page, and we'll gather them up. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, Facebook for once, not email. Don't email us the questions. Facebook us the questions this time. It's
Right.
faster that way anyway.
We did get a number of contributions. Really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. That money goes towards continuing this project and making it keep going. And we also got some emails from people saying you're Sheffield. So I appreciate that. Thank you. And we'll talk
Putting
to
a
you guys
link in
later.
the chat.
And I'm going to go find a buffet. Oh, it's going to be wonderful.
It was a buffet on the a la carte restaurant. Oh, I'm in the wrong demo.
Yeah.
I got
Oh.
sad.
Oh.
Alright.
All right. Thank you and good night.
Alright. Thanks everybody
Thank you,
for
everyone.
joining us in
Good
the
night.
Titanic demo.
Message us your questions.
Farewell.